Hello, hi Sandeep.
Yeah, hello everyone.
Hello, hey, Manish.
Yeah, Vipin. Good afternoon, Sandeep. So I think that we should make our camera on. Okay, so Vipin and Sandeep ji, can you make your camera on?
Yeah. Good afternoon, Manish.
Yeah, good afternoon, good afternoon. So Priyanka, just let me know when we can start.
I will have to leave in 10 minutes from now.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I saw your message, Vipin. I saw your message. Okay. Okay. So first of all, let me introduce myself. Then we'll do the introduction.
Yeah, we will about to start the
Okay, fine.
conference.
So can we start now, Priyanka?
Yeah, you have to wait for 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay, so we are waiting. No issues. हाँ कर लो. You can sit here also. No issues. ठीक है. हाँ, if you want to sit, you can sit. No challenge. Even कुछ नहीं, hardly take like
Good afternoon, industry leaders. It's a pleasure to welcome everyone to the 52nd Inflection FMCG Tech Innovation Web Conferences and Awards, organized by Alden Global Value Advisors. I am Priyanka Jain from Team Alden Global and will be the host for the day. Inflection is a series of web and physical conferences and awards across Delhi, Mumbai, and Bangalore. Today, we are joined by top technology leaders of India to make this conference an exciting communication platform for sharing best practices, the roadmap to the future, and innovative solutions. Today's conference theme is Envisioning the Future of FMCG Through Digital Transformation. We welcome our title partners, Freshworks, in today's conference. Freshworks makes it easy for businesses to delight their customers and employees. They do this by taking a fresh approach to building and delivering software as a service that's affordable, quick to implement, and designed for the end user. Unlike legacy software, Freshworks builds tech that works for everyone, making it easy for IT, customer service, sales, marketers, and HR to do their job and delight their customers. More than 50,000 companies use Freshworks to enable a better customer experience and employee experience. Also, we have Field Assist as a gold sponsor. Field Assist is a new age-based sales and distribution technology platform that is transforming go-to-market strategies of CPG brands globally. It empowers the top management of a company with actionable analytics leading to faster decision making and firm execution of their own field strategies. Salesmen, manager, and distributors get real-time intelligence to achieve higher sales and market share with the use of technology products including SFA and DMS. Field Asset headquartered in Gurgaon, India, with 500 plus clients in more than 10 countries in Asia and Africa, is focused on empowering brands' relationship with their CPG partner ecosystem across the end-to-end value chain. Let's start the conference with the first panel discussion of the day. The topic is Converging Technology to Outperform in FMCG. Here I call the moderator Manish Gaur from Patanjali, Sandeep Jabbal from Jubilant Foodworks, Vipin Luthra from PepsiCo, and Vinod Deshmukh from Haldiram. Now, a request, Manish, to please start the discussion.
Okay, so hello everyone and welcome. Okay, so already I'm introduced by Priyanka. So myself Manish and I head IT for Patanjali. So we have the three more people here: Vipin, Sandeep, and Vinod. So can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, I can go first. My name is Vipin Luthra. I'm working for PepsiCo as their Hyderabad Global Capability Lead. I have around, I'm with PepsiCo for almost 8 years now.
Mr. Sandeep. Yes, Sandeep.
Sandeep, you're on mute. Actually.
I'm so sorry. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, Manish. So I'm Sandeep Jabbal. I work for Jubilant Foodworks as Vice President Technology, taking care of the entire application stack, and been here for 4 years. Overall, 20 years of experience in retail and IT.
Okay, fine. So the today's agenda is like more about the FMCG work. Okay, so we all are from the FMCG background, and definitely there is a disruptive changes happening into the FMCG domain. Being like everybody wants to go digitalize, and then definitely because of the COVID situation, the management is also wants that the company should be well digitalized. So we have the few questions from the different people from the industries which they want to understand from the leaders like you. So the first question is, what are the imperatives for you in the technology in the FMCG domain? So Vipin, can you answer that? Like if you would like to say something about that?
Technology, as you have mentioned, is influencing the FMCG sector and digital disruption. It is changing consumer behaviors. How consumers are seeing the product, how they are ordering the product is completely undergoing a change. E-commerce is also disrupting the FMCG space, and COVID has really pushed people to adapt to the digital mindset. A few years back, organizations, they were struggling to have a digital mindset of business teams and overall of even for the end consumers. But now COVID has played an essential part in increasing an adoption of the digital platforms. At my place, I see my parents, they earlier never were able to use the smartphone or WhatsApp, but now I see them using all digital, these kind of tools, and even they have started shopping on Amazon. So that's a big change. So COVID has accelerated the digital transformation, and now for most organizations, digital transformation is their top priority. IT now has really become a backbone of organizations, and people are now spending, like end consumers are spending more time online, producing more data. So data has become a very powerful tool for the organization. This is a new muscle power that should be utilized for taking right decisions for any organization and creating their future roadmaps. Automation is picking up. AI has to play a like vital role in the core of it to make the things work seamlessly. And I believe deep tech and AI adoption has massively accelerated in this entire ecosystem. And the pandemic has accelerated the growth in the deep tech adoption as well. IT in this world is no longer now limited as a function to IT. It has now become a part of every department, every function in any organization. And we need to strengthen our capacity for building practices in the technology area, which is no longer now limited to IT functions. It has to be part of every function. We need to create more citizen developers from business side who can do their own automation, who think in terms of technology themselves, training business team on data visualization technologies, like training them on BI so that they can play with their own data. They can organize their own data, and dependency on the technical teams can be reduced. So basically, I understand that the federated ways of working will be the future to meet the exponential demand of these digital products. So that's my view, what is there right now on this entire ecosystem.
So can you give some example, like some case studies, or like PepsiCo is using the AI, ML, or like different data sciences technologies to meet the day-to-day customer requirements or to meet the business requirements?
See, there overall means most of, as I've mentioned, that data is the new muscle power. The way we are designing the planograms, the way we do our promotion designing, these all things depend on the data. So we are trying to review, how our products should be placed, where, how the shelf space should be used. I'm just giving you a few examples where data is there. We also try to see, end to end managing the supply chain. What are the inefficiencies, the redundancies that we need to get rid of? So there are various use cases, Manish, in every area, from make, move, sell to finance, where these technologies are playing a part.
So, Mr. Sandeep, would you like to say something like on the same thing, imperatives?
I think apart from what Vipin has already covered, the only other thing being in a consumer-facing industry would be how much frictionless experience we can create for consumers. Because yes, consumers have gone digital during COVID, but they were forced to it. To make them stick to it, we need to ensure that their experience continues to be elevated as and when we bring in new features. So if, for example, if they're on an app, we need to make sure their discovery of the product, the payment system, this discovery of promotions available to them, their wallet, their points, their queries, everything is available in a very, very seamless manner and across all touch points. Not only, for us who are in physical business as well as in digital presence, we need to make sure the experience of consumer is same across all touch points. It cannot be that you have certain coupons, but you can't apply them in a physical store.
So we have to make all the touch points as a digitalized, right? So because like we are also doing the same thing, like all the touch points where we are converging with the, like you can say, with the customers or with the vendors. So all touch points, they should be well digitalized.
Right. So yeah, that's the only thing. The 360-degree uniform experience. Digital should not be on mobile app only. Digital means the same experience for all touch points.
Okay, so next question is like how are you creating a deep tech mindset? Like because the digitalization is happening, right? So sometimes like you have to deep, like a technical mindset is not only about that, talking about the creating the technical people also, because we have to get all the CIOs, CTOs, they need the budget approval from the management also. And then a mindset not in the not in the technical line, also into the managerial line also. So how you people are doing that?
See, I'll go first. Like Vipin mentioned about the concept of citizen developer. So we have embarked on that journey of getting into a low code, no code platform where we are encouraging people to solve their own problems, because the hunger for digitization is so much that IT department alone, even by hiring people, getting people is a different problem nowadays in technology. But we can't fulfill their requirements, so we are encouraging them. We're doing trainings for them to undergo training for low code, no code platform, do their own development, simple workflows to begin with. So with that, their adoption level increases because they are sponsors of the technology. Earlier, IT used to go and make people learn. We used to create user manuals. Now they are doing end to end, although simpler use cases to begin with. But more and more, they are encouraged, and they believe that technology is not something reserved for IT department only. They can also get, and they can create a lot of working applications, not just simple leave approval workflows. They can do much more today. They can create mobile apps. So we are investing in that direction, and hopefully it will pay off in terms of changing the mindset of business. The technology is not limited to IT department. It's not. Everyone needs to have their skin in the game.
So it means go digitalization is everyone's responsibility, not
Yes.
only responsibility.
Yeah, and we support them using these platforms because security, backup, all these things which are pure technical are taken care of. They just focus on the business workflow. But yes, they deliver technology, on their own.
Okay, so the next question is like, the technology is quite vast, right? So like I don't see there is a starting and there is a ending of the technology, but every day the new technology is coming, and then definitely that is gonna to resolve or solve any kind of business problem, or like to give any kind of business benefit. So what all the possibilities you find where the technology can help us? Vipin, can you say something about that?
Ideally, the thing is that we need to own the problems. So it is not about using different technologies. It is
Okay.
solving our problems and increasing efficiencies, time to market. As Sandeep mentioned, enhancing people's experience. So those should be the top priority. And if we start adopting, if we start owning our problems, then bringing technology is something that we need to think about. So, for example, agriculture, there can be problems. How can we, like agriculture is one of our source from where we get the raw materials. Now, very simple. How do we collaborate with the farmers to help them in and optimize their crops yield? That is one of the problem statement that we can own and work on getting technology. How can technology help it, right? Other area, like there are so many areas in sustainability, our in supply chain, our trucks to carry our goods, our raw materials. Can we optimize the route plans for it? How can technology play a role in that? So so the idea is, we need to own our problems, and every day we need to see how we are improving in every business process by removing the redundancies, and that will give a way for us to get innovation, to adapt to the innovation and bringing new technologies to work on.
Thank you. So next question, from Sandeep, right? So Sandeep, right? For Sandeep, how are leading organizations leveraging tech to outperform? So Sandeep,
Yeah.
how are the leading organization leveraging tech to outperform?
So I would say the companies which make best use of the data are the companies which will have edge over their competition, because everyone is sitting on tons of data, and the best you harvest that data, the more advantage you will have. So gone are the days of Monday morning reports being reviewed and then decisions taken on Tuesday and implemented on Wednesday. things have to be done real time. So consumers want their refunds real time. They today we see some companies have a tech play where they can issue refunds over the chat. A chatbot takes that call, and chatbot is you remove the human bias from that. Although AI has a bias, that's a separate discussion. But yes, largely you remove the human bias. You have a calculated decision. So if you, and this is based on all the data. So if a chatbot is issuing me a refund, it has done all the digging into my history, what kind of customer I am, how likely I'm doing a fraud. So with that, these are the edge. And for consumer, again, it's a frictionless experience. So I'm using data to give frictionless experience as well as creating an edge from my competition. A customer is likely to return to the platform where he or she doesn't have to wait for 7 days to get a refund. So we make best use of the data. That data is power. So the more power you have, better customers stickiness you will have.
So Vipin, would you like to say something, right, for the leveraging technologies and the outperforms?
Yes. As I mentioned earlier in my previous answer as well, that we need to think of every process on how we can improve from time to market, improve from bringing efficiencies, and we need to adapt to the technologies. Like PepsiCo does a lot of work in sustainability area, how we are making our reusing our plastic, reducing our plastic, how we are helping farmers in optimize the crop yield, how are we optimizing our route plan, and these all areas, if you see technologies, they play a major role. It helps the entire ecosystem in terms of making this planet a better place to live. It also helps our organization to outperform. So I believe we have to look at every process end to end and bring in innovation to improve it. And technology can play a big role in each and every area.
Okay, so the PepsiCo, like, so I have another question, like, so the how you are managing the qualities, right? So you have the like so it's like spread across world PepsiCo, and then definitely so many different kind of raw material is coming, so many different kind of processing. So how you are maintaining that quality, Vipin? And some same kind of taste, same kind of quality, everything every time everything is same. So how you're going to how to
Yeah,
how
we
to
have dedicated
managing that?
team, Manish, for that. There is a dedicated department that works on those. So those are subject matter experts. They have various tools and techniques to maintain that.
So any specific technology you people are using for that, like some AI, ML, some like image processing, some uh, any kind of thing.
There are a lot of tools that are used, especially I can tell you that uh, uh, there are AI-based tools, image processing tools, especially to see the bad quality chips. I'm just giving you an example.
Mhm.
So there are many digital products that we are using which are tied to our production line, which does a continuous review of the quality of the product. Like image processing is extensively used in identifying the bad quality chips which are there, and it just picks up and throws them out from the conveyor belt. So that is just one of the examples that I'm giving you.
And about the farmers, because definitely we are also well connected with the farmers. Patanjali is also well connected with the farmers. So definitely buying the goods and then making the payments to the farmer, because they cannot afford the delay in the payments. You know, right? And definitely the quality of products, what they are growing, and then keep on guiding to the farmers. So any kind of specific technology you people are using for that?
Yes, I would not like to talk about dedicatedly on this topic, Manish, but in the agriculture space, we have a lot of areas in which we are investing on IoT-based solutions, especially to measure the moisture content of the soil. So there are solutions which are used in the IoT space as well in the agriculture area, Manish.
Okay. So Sandeep, you are from like so Jubilant, right? So handling the customers, right? So I don't know how many stepfuls would be there, right? So like maybe thousand and thousand of people are coming to the Jubilant. So how you are managing those customers? How are you maintaining the how you are retaining the customers using the technology? So
Like I said, today consumers are growing digitally intolerant. So we need to understand that consumers are deriving their experiences from the likes of Amazon and Myntra and these companies which invest heavily into tech. So they're used to no questions are returned. They're used to refunds in instant. So we also keep a close track on how we are doing our refunds, how we are resolving the complaints, and we have dedicated teams for data, and we have dedicated teams for consumer experience. We have dedicated teams for integrations like payment gateway. So we invest a lot in technology, and we make sure that at every point in time, consumer experience, whatever data point. So if my for example we all our delivery riders carry mobile app, so we're able to track the delivery time of 30 minutes or less. Now for some restaurant, if the delivery time is going consistently beyond 30 minutes for last, let's say, 30 minutes, their area manager, their regional managers, they will get alerts, and they will immediately check what's wrong with my restaurant. Are there more orders? It's fine, but are my people less? Is there some breakdown in the restaurant? So using the data, live feed of data, we are able to keep the monitoring of the operational KPIs on check. And again, moment some experience is being spoiled, we are able to know, and we are able to take corrective actions in real time, not next day or day after. That's what we are doing to use technology and data to improve the consumer experience. We do the right intervention at the right time.
Okay, so like what kind of like do you use some kind of like so go to market strategies and then kind of like any omni channel kind of software? Are you using some kind of that, or like?
No, we have our in-house tech, and we continue to invest more and more into that. We are on a journey to become a food tech company. So we have our own in-house technology. We don't buy a lot of stuff from the market.
Okay.
Of course, we do invest standard stacks like ERPs, SAPs, but largely the consumer-facing tech and the tech which drives our core operations, we build it.
So all the B2B and B2C, the like tertiary and secondary and tertiary sales handled by your softwares only.
No, B2C, I'm talking about. B2B largely,
through the SAP.
We're not much into that. We just started that business into FMCG. But yes, that's a smaller business. There we use standard stacks. But eventually, as we grow, we will invest in that direction in terms of improving the consumer experience. But right now, D2C is what is interesting space for us, where we are investing a lot in improving consumer experience, and our app is one of the highest rated on the app stores.
And you have your own loyalty cards, kind of that also, right? Something like loyalty cards, or using the digital technologies.
Yes, we do work with partners in some areas, but as I said, we continue to invest. So this is a space which is growing, which is maturing. So as we evolve, it will take different shapes. So we are just experimenting in this area. But yes, we do work with partners as well for certain things like wallet and loyalty.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Priyanka. So so let's Sandeep, let's and if somebody has a question, if anybody has a question, take the questions. Priyanka, if you got any questions from the people.
I got a question for you, Manish. How, because you are into a different industry, and
yes.
This industry evolved not because of consumer asking for it, but because of a demand being driven, which was not
the market.
So today, how do you see consumer, the role of technology in this kind of market, where it's completely different from a FMCG? Yes, there is an element of FMCG, but it's more about health, fitness, and deriving its importance from that. So how do you see consumers looking at technology in this industry, because this is different from a typical food industry or a FMCG industry?
So first of all, the Patanjali is into the multiple domain, right? So we are into the domains, we are into the FMCG also, we are into the pharmaceuticals, we are into cosmetics also, and then we are into the media and so many domains, right? So all these domains are well connected, Sandeep, right? So the demand, the organic demand came from the health only, right? So health, like when the people are well conscious about the health, they start demanding of the organic product or natural products, right? So this is not driven by, you can say, by a single person or something like that, but this is driven by the circumstances also most of the time, right? So like during the COVID situation, so we have seen that people are more inclined towards yoga, towards eating the healthy foods. They have changed their habits also. They are adopting the natural organic foods, right? So these are the circumstances. Yeah, definitely. Like Swamiji, he is playing a very important role, like awakening the people and making them health conscious, like asking them to learn the yoga, because yoga is the key factor which keeps you healthy, right? But other factors are like which are connected with the yoga is eating the healthy foods, right? So if you talk about, so all these are like are well connected with the technology part also. Like if you say that like we are running with more than 1 lakh of yoga classes every day, and then we have the proper software and application, all the people registered on that, like then we are conducting the classes, how many classes are done, so different type of yogas taught by the trainers every day. So these are the well connected. Then definitely along with that, so we are into that well into the digital space also. Like what you said, we have our own the software development part also. We have our own like B2B, B2C applications like post, what you say, we have our e-commerce, we have our own web, we have our own application which we call the Order Me, which is the order taking application, and which is like you can have the COD and then doorstep delivery over there. So the Patanjali is now, so the growth, the cause of the growth of the Patanjali is I'll say pace. Pace is the speed, right? Understanding the market, and then meeting the customer requirement in time and on time. So this is the key factor, right? So like we don't put any delay while meeting the customer requirement. So and then for that we are using the many thousands of technologies. We are using the AI, ML. We have the plant automations, fully automated plants with no human touch, right? So we have the milk, like only the collection of the milk is the part where the like anybody can touch the milk. After then up to the packaging, nobody can touch the milk, right? In the same thing we have into the ghee, we have the chawan prash, kind of that. You can, if you come to the chawan prash, like that is 100% automatized, right? Nothing is like, nobody can touch the chawan prash. Once the raw product is put into the vessels, after that nobody can touch, and everything whatever you will get is the only the packed chawan prash. So we have done a lot of automations. We understood the market, understanding the market, and then penetrating the market also, and creating the new marketplace space also. Okay, so I think
Thanks, Manish.
from anyone. So let's give a break then. Okay, thank you, Sandeep. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Now we have an interesting keynote presentation by Ujala Katta from Freshworks. Freshworks makes it easy and for businesses to delight their customers and employees. They do this by taking a fresh approach to building and delivering software as a service that's affordable, quick to implement, and designed for the end user. Unlike legacy software, Freshworks builds tech that works for everyone, makes it easy for an IT, customer service, sales, marketers, and HR to do their job and delight their customers. More than 50,000 companies use Freshworks to enable a better customer experience and employee experience. Now I welcome Ujala. Ujala is a lead solution consultant with over 13 years of experience out, which she spent 3+ years in Freshworks. She is the CX and BOT product SME in Freshworks and was able to win big logos like Paytm and Dhani in the India region. I request Ujala to please start the discussion.
Thank you so much for that, Priyanka. Please give me a moment as I just share my screen and the presentation that I have today.
Now you can share.
Yeah, thank you. Just give me a moment, please. Are you able to see my screen?
No, not right now.
Not yet. Just give me a moment. Now can you see?
Yes, it's visible now.
You can see my presentation, right?
Yeah, right.
Oh, okay, great. Awesome. Awesome. Once again, thank you so much for, giving me this opportunity to speak in this forum. As I mentioned, I'm Ujjala and I'm the lead solution engineer and just been promoted. So here being the head of solution engineer now at Freshworks. So I am, more into the customer support space. I'm the specialist here in the India region, and I basically provide my expertise in winning, strategic deals and big logos. So today, we have an interesting topic, and I hope you have something to take away from this session, especially by the end of it, right? So at Freshworks, we believe in delighting the customer always. And I believe this is the same mantra that, all the businesses, all the different brands, we persevere to use with our customers to win our customers. And today I would like to share from our learnings, Freshworks learnings on how we can be available for our customers who want convenience, that is, products or solutions at their fingertips. And also if they encounter issues with their products or solutions, again, be available at their convenience, and giving them contactless support where we can go ahead and leverage self-service to be as contactless as possible, to be as self-serving as possible, right? And especially this is something that time and again we've been speaking, like the pandemic, right? Like with the onset of COVID-19, I mean, it has completely change the customer behavior, and it continues to be so, even though we see relaxations with COVID-19 not as predominant as it was, right? And we've also seen because of this change of environment, the change of the customer behavior, there has been a proliferation of multiple challenges, and now it is a need, it's imperative that businesses put more effort in providing a world-class service. And I would like to show how the Freshworks suite of products can enable you as an organization to fulfill these new trends. So here we have two keywords, right? Anytime and anywhere, which essentially means delivering effortless support via an omni-channel platform. So what is omni-channel? Of course, we would see it more deeply in the coming slides. But just to give you an understanding, by definition, we know that omni-channel is a place where it brings all the support channels, right? Like be it our classic channels like email, phone call, and the more newer channels like social media. When I talk about social media, it's like WhatsApp and Instagram, and all of those queries by all from the various platforms, they're coming into a unified space where my customer support team can have that one-stop shop and contextual data to resolve the issues within a short period of time. And with that, let us go ahead and move on. So the agenda, for this session, I just would like to keep it, short and crisp, right? So, omni-channel, has been a buzzword for over a decade. And as I already mentioned, we've got this plethora of options available today. Also, in today's day and age, with the advent of the ever increasing penetration of the internet in the last couple of decades, the evolution of devices that the customers use, be it from PCs to handheld devices like smartphones or tablets and various communication channels, right? And apart from that, the classic ones like email, we also have, Facebook direct messages, WhatsApp, Instagram, Line, and all of these different channels, right? So, essentially, how many of these channels do we use, right? Should it be between 10 and 15 or lesser? But what I would want to recommend in today's session is the rule of 5, right? That'll be one part of the agenda. Now, with these 5 channels in mind, and I would also like to explain, I'd also like to justify why these channels, right? Why we are using these channels, and with Freshdesk, how we would like to optimize the use of these channels so that we can provide the best in class customer experience. And at the end, I would like to tie it all together and help understand the learnings and the key takeaways. Now, before I move ahead, I just want to take this opportunity to give a brief overview of Freshworks, right? We started around 2010 in a very quaint little place in Chennai, right? And now, with over 50,000 customers, we have been growing at 49% year on year, and we've crossed $300 million in annual revenue. And what this means is that we are at a size that we can serve customers regardless of scale, wherever they are across the globe. And while we started with the SMB market as our products. And as our products have evolved, we started with only the customer support products, and our portfolio increased where now we have ITSM product, CRM product, we have marketing, right? And with this, we have also started serving the mid-market and the enterprise segments, which now make up over 50% of our ongoing business. And not only that, we were fortunate enough to be listed in NASDAQ in 2021 in the month of September. And we take pride in it, right? So here we are, and here we are today because of the support we received from our customers and who are our champions. So we have customers like Swiggy, Zomato, Dunzo, PhonePe, right? And all of these customers using our Freshworks suite of products. So they've used, to deliver the customer service. In fact, if you were to pick up your phone and if you are using any of these applications, right, mobile apps, you would essentially be using Freshdesk Omnichannel to get your queries answered. So that's how we were able to, win these different clients here. So with that in mind, let us understand what we mean by omnichannel. So I explained in a bit, right, what omnichannel actually means, right? Now, this is a term that was coined by Daryl Rigby in 2011, where it dates back to being used by one of the grocery giants in the US, right? And they were competing with another giant in the US, right? Which was predominantly an electronic department which started with, right? And that company actually created an approach that centered around the customer, both in store and online, and while providing post-sale support. So omnichannel was actually coined as a form of assembled commerce. And that essentially means that as business and as a brand, we should be available at the convenience of our end customers to reach out to us in various ways, right? But at the same time, for me as a brand, to have a unified inbox where I can receive all of these queries in one place. And as a customer support agent, I get enough context about the customer and I'm able to revert back to the customer on time, right? So, as we mentioned in the beginning, the customers' expectations have changed, right? There has been a sharp increase in online shopping. In fact, based on statistics, we've seen that 50% increase in the same, right? Earlier, at least, during the pre-COVID, we were doing online shopping, right? Not like we were not doing it, like we were doing it on Amazon or Mintra, but it was predominantly for the apparel industry, right? But now with this pandemic, instead of us going to the regular mom and pop stores, we are having them online. In fact, we have seen that there's so many hyper local startups that have kicked off in the recent past, right? And the customers would want to be in the comfort of their homes, and with their handheld device they can go ahead and order whatever they want whenever they want. And that actually eventually led to lesser number of people stepping out of their homes. And with the internet at the customer's fingertips, they want to order and have the products delivered to them right at their doorstep, right? And that is where we've seen that there's been increase of 50%, where most of the customers, they prefer online shopping. And the behavior has also changed, right? They now go from one gadget, like they could start shopping from Amazon, and then they could start working, and in between their work, go log on to their Amazon account on their laptop, right? But they want that same experience. Whatever was added to the cart on the mobile, the same should be available even when they are accessing the same account using their laptops, right? and and because of this, we also see a lot of 40% increase in the home activities. Now, before I move to the why and how of omnichannel and omnichannel support, we see that this in this slide we can explain the trends that we see happening globally, right? So as I mentioned, in the apparel industry, yes, it was anyways moving to the online shopping, but does not stop there now. This is the similar trend that we see in other industries like the food and grocery, right? Pharma, especially where there is medicine delivery, or even the entertainment industry, which has seen a huge surge where with the OTT platform, we're able to see everything online, right? Right at right in my living room, right? With the help of Netflix, of Prime, and likewise. And not only that, right? Even the fitness industry, where we see, earlier we would step out, go to the gym, but now again, due to the pandemic, and even post pandemic, almost post pandemic, we see online sessions of various type of workouts. There are diet plans, and everything is being done remotely, just like how we are doing via Zoom, right? We are doing the session via Zoom, and everything else is happening via Zoom. And that is what I want to reiterate, that so many industries, the customer experience has changed, has taken this 180-degree turn, and has moved into this online format from the offline or the physical experience. And not only that, it is not the big brands that we're talking about. The small scale industries have also seen the the ROI in using WhatsApp business or Instagram, by using that to promote their businesses. Not only that, the bigger brands, they have started branching out to new tech spaces and offerings like telemedicine or medicine delivery, hyper local markets. And that is what the brands realize, that they need to focus and provide more services to the customers. So coming back to why the need for digital and omni-channel, right? And it is simple because a lot of channels are available now, and also people expect faster responses. If you see, information is available right at the customer's fingertips. And anyways, and now when when the query gets more complex and it is imperative that there is an agent intervention, then still the customers seek the same faster response. Now we need to identify who is going to do the initial heavy lifting. Is it going to be a human, Or is it going to be a chatbot, which can not only give the responses real time, but also results in the deflection of issues to the at the end of the day, right? Customers are also looking for empathy. And this is another area that the brands should now focus on. Let's say, as I mentioned, almost everything is becoming online, or becoming more like ordering and bringing it to the doorstep, right? So let's say medicines are not delivered on time, and during these time critical moments, it is imperative that brands empathize with the customer and bring that wow moment in resolving the query, right? And personalization, that is another key. And this is possible by giving more contextual information to the agents, right? Rather than having the customer repeat their problem end to end from one channel to the other channel, right? What we would want is give enough context to the customers. Like, for example, the customer's order history, or payment history, or a recharge history, depending on what type of application that they are using for, right? And any information which eventually aids in resolving the issues faster. And this is possible by giving our agents, the not only the agents, in fact, by giving the customers and the agents that omni-channel platform. And Fresh Desk omni-channel exactly meets the need, where it can be that one-stop solution in receiving the queries from various platforms, right? And how is this possible? Like, Fresh Desk omni-channel has public APIs, which we can use to connect with the backend system or the third-party systems, where based on the customer, we can, fetch all the relevant details on Fresh Desk omni-channel platform, where, instead of the agents toggling between multiple tabs, they just log into one space, get enough context of the customers, are able to receive the queries from the different channels in a unified inbox. And this is enough for the agent to understand the pain that the customer is going through, the number of times that they are trying to reach out to the support team, right, by various platforms, and combined with all the contextual information, be it their order details, payment history, recharge history, and everything, we are able to resolve the customer's query, right? Like, for example, let's say if it is the FMCG industry, like I'm talking about the hyper local industry, right? Where, the customer had ordered and it has not been delivered, right? Now, the customer may reach out to you via WhatsApp, the customer may reach out to you via call, or via the, chat on that mobile app. All of this eventually leads to the same inbox. Now, when an agent is looking into the customer's query, they know that the customer has reached out to them via the various platforms, right? And when they also see in Freshdesk Omnichannel what were the different orders, which order was delivered, which orders yet to be delivered, then obviously, the agent need not ask all those details once again. We are basically personalizing it for the agent with enough context, and the agent can right then and there try resolving the query, then asking more details from the customer. And at the same time, also understand the emergency of the customer, the behavior, right, when they are reaching out to us by multiple platforms. So this is exactly what we need for the digital and the omni-channel support. Now, having said that, there is a big but, right? It is easier said than done. Now, as I mentioned, earlier, that there are a plethora of channels, especially with the penetration of internet, and even in tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities, or even the villages, right? Earlier, we had, the classic channels of emails and phones, right? Emails allow us to receive queries, but the turnaround time is not defined, right? And it is definitely not real time. Whereas phone, it is a real time support that we can give the customer, but at the same time, it is a very expensive channel where it's only a one-to-one, that there's one agent who can be occupied with only one customer, and with this, it becomes a more expensive channel. But of course, we are able to give the resolution as quickly as possible. But as I said, with internet, we see more channels, right? Be it the Facebook, Twitter, and more importantly, which is more widely used, WhatsApp and Instagram and other communication channels, right? So if we were to start supporting the customers across all the channels, right? Some channels are what I already mentioned, but there's so many other channels, right? Then, being available in all the different channels that a customer can raise a query from, it can pose to be a big problem, right? A big challenge. Now, as customers, they will definitely expect a same quality of support across each touch point. But are we ready to do that? Is my support team ready to do that? Is the tool that we are having the support team use ready to do that? Also, for agents, if they do not have proper context about the customer, then there are high chances that we lose them, right? Eventually, the agent might keep asking the customer for more information, or the agent might have to toggle between multiple tabs and multiple systems to get the customer's details, right? Like, so similar to what I mentioned earlier, the how a customer can reach out to us via different platforms, right? So how many channels must a brand have to call itself truly omni-channel? Is it like 10 or 12 or 15 or less than 5? What is it? What we would like to focus is on the rule of 5, right? So we see the different channels, be it, self-service, when we say messaging, email, phone, and social. These are some of the highly used channels, and we would also want to recommend these channels to be used, right? And we see that these accounts for more than 90% of channels. So I firmly believe that we need to have these channels and go for the other channels only once the current support is more matured. So we have other channels like YouTube, we have, facts. That's something that we hardly use it, right? And we don't want to even recommend using it. Now, be it TikTok or other forms of channels, we don't want to start going there until unless we mature the rule of 5 channels that we're talking about. So in the upcoming slides, I would like to delve a little deeper on these 5 channels and focus on why we need it and how we can achieve it, right? So just give me one moment as I just shift my screen, please.
Thank you, Jara.
Yeah.
Now we have some audience questions actually. So first question is from Rajesh Gopal. He's asking, what are the key projects your customers are working on?
Uh, Key projects, is it? So
Yes.
I mean, see, if we just to explain to you, what I'm trying to say is, the Freshworks suite of products is predominantly used for the customer support experience, right? Now, when you're talking about different projects, what I understand is the different customers that we reach out to. Customer support product that we use is industry agnostic. We can, as I mentioned in the beginning of the conversation, that we have different channels by sorry, we are catering to different industries, be it e-commerce, be it fintech, be it insurance related, right? So we are able to cover all the different channels using our customer support suite of products. I hope I was able to answer the question.
Yes. We have another question also. It's from Miss Juhi Singh. She's asking, how do you see the customer experience landscape in future?
Absolutely. So, Juhi, this is what we see, right? I mean, uh, and this is a trend that we are going to see even in the future, right? Especially that's something that has been built up during the pandemic, where we are experiencing more of an online presence. And when we say online, here we are looking at different types of channels as against the classic channels that we were using earlier, which were emails and phone calls. And now is the trend of using the modern channels, messaging channels, especially like WhatsApp, like having uh, a chatbot on your website or on your mobile app. And the reason being, we also see a general shift in the behavior where customers also want immediate responses, right? And especially if you have a predefined flow, like for example, let's say, even for a banking industry, let's say, right, a customer wants to know what their account balance is. Now, instead of going on a phone call and going through the multiple IVR options, what we can actually do is, we can have a chatbot on your bank website. You can just immediately verify yourself with your phone number and an OTP, and you can immediately get your bank statement. So here, we don't, without any intervention of an email or without any intervention of an agent, we are able to leverage self-service with the help of our ever-evolving chatbot. And not only that, that is more like a predefined outcome that is set, but chatbot is the place to be, right? That is the future that we see. And this chatbot that we're talking about, it is compliant in different platforms. We can have this chatbot integrated with your WhatsApp. It can be integrated on your website. It can be integrated on your mobile app. We can also see it using Facebook, direct messages in Instagram and likewise. So chatbot is the place to be. That is where the trend is going.
Yeah, one more question we have. It's from Mr. Shailendra Sharma. He's asking, how do we future-proof employee experience?
How does the future?
How do we future-proof employee experience?
Employee experience, yes. Here, what I understand is our agents who are talking about, I believe this is what we're talking about, our customer agents. I understand that, more and more with the use of chatbot and, with the ROI that chatbot gives, then there is more, do we even need this many number of agents? This is what I decipher from the question that is being asked. See, as we see, 10 years back, we have not perceived the problems that we perceive now, right? The behavior has shifted completely. Everything is going online. And that is why we see that customers want immediate responses, right? That doesn't mean that it is not, it would, jeopardize my staff members, my support team members. It's just that because the customer behavior is changing, but at the same time, because customers tend to ask very predefined queries, right? At that point, we can have the chatbot do the initial heavy lifting. But only when we want, more complex queries, that is where we need that human intervention. We need that human touch, that touch of empathy, right? To that we can extend to the end customers. So even with the advent of chatbot, we do not see much happening at the front of the staff, where we can have the same number of staff supporting our end customers. And the happy part is that the customer base is increasing, right? So because it increases, we are leveraging the use of chatbot, and not because of a decreased customer requests. Any other question, Priyanka?
No, Jal.
Okay.
So thank you, Jala, for your wonderful insights.
Sure. Thank you, Priyanka. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Bye.
Moving further, we have another panel for the day, and the topic is Technology Vision for FMCG 2025. Today, 100 plus CXOs and attendees are watching this live on our website. We welcome Field Assist, our gold sponsor. Field Assist is a new age-based sales and distribution technology platform that is transforming go-to-market strategies of CPG brands globally. It empowers the top management of a company with actionable analytics leading to faster decision making and firm execution of their on field strategy. Salesmen, manager, and distributors get real time intelligence to achieve higher sales and market share with the use of technology products, including SFA and DMS. Field Assist is headquartered in Gurugram, India, and with 500 plus clients in more than 10 countries in Asia and Africa, is focused on empowering brands' relationship with its CPG partner ecosystem across the end-to-end value chain. Here I call the moderator, Dharmendra Verma, Delivery Head Overseas Group, Samsung Data Systems, Prasad Udyawar from Parle Agro, Paramdeep Singh from Field Assets, and Arvind Singh from Reliance Retail. I request Mr. Dharmendra to please start the discussion.
Hey, thank you, Priyanka. I think I'm audible. Hi, I'm audible.
Yes, Arvind.
Hey, great. Hello,
Yes,
everyone.
Arvind.
Thank you so much, and thanks to Eldon for having us here in this pandemic situation wherein leaders are not able to meet with each other. So thanks a lot, and welcome to all of you. So the topic as already mentioned by Priyanka, definitely we are going to discuss on technology vision for FMCG 2025. So the moment I have been asked and invited for this topic, then I realized that this is not going to discuss only as an technology leader. Rather, we are going to discuss and understand that customer pain as well, having a consumer of this market. So I think we can start discussion into it moving ahead. But let me put a few pointers here. So technology vision, even as a technology leader and as a consumer, as I mentioned here, the more helpful or demanding things is going to help in the technology, like in data analysis called big data. We can mention it here, wherein acquisition, store processes, manufacturing, automation, and all comes here. Another part, we might go and explore more about the reachability. So if I talk about the reach, then definitely the urban cities or tier 1 cities is almost, very much covered. I don't say 100%, but yes, very much covered. And there's some expansion is required in tier 3, tier 4 kind of cities and rural areas, how to proceed with it and what technologies are going to help. Having this huge populations are there in the internet in India, even worldwide. And then definitely because supply is there, coverage is there, then definitely we will talk about how to handle the manufacturing part with help of the accurate forecasting and quality and other areas as well. Definitely data automation and all will play a very key role in this area. So the first things, the moment we start talking on this area, then the first things comes in our mind. It's called technology enablement for a future, unlocking the futures, if I talk about. So definitely I would like to invite Paramdeep, if you want to put some light on this topic, and then accordingly we'll move forward.
Thank you, Dharmendra.
And thanks for joining us.
Thank you, my pleasure. Yeah. So the topic, I think it's very, very relevant what we are discussing on this platform. And in the last 10 years, what we have seen, the role of technology in FMCG has tremendously shifted. So I remember a quote of Satya Nadella in 2020 in pandemic, when he mentioned about the 2 years of disruption in technology has happened in just 2 months. So coming from one of the biggest giant in technology worldwide, this actually means a lot. And we all have seen in the last 2 years again that how much advancements have happened. And particularly because I come from a background of manufacturing and then technology into FMCG. So I could very well relate, and the significance of this topic is very, very crucial. And earlier in FMCG, it used to be more of internal operations, which were taken care by a lot of big and variety of ERP systems. But now it is more of talking technology each and every function of an FMCG company, be it people, be it logistics, be it sales, and many more. And on top of it, of course, we are talking about leveraging data and then making the decisions not just for not just for today or tomorrow, because the times are like that. How do we make ourselves future proof and then predict as much as with possible certainty and take decision based on that, make strategies in boardroom based on that. So it's very much about the data-driven culture, and that's why I think the role of IT in collecting the data, slicing and dicing it, and then figuring it out what it could be of use to not just the company, but how can we deliver best to our customers, the whole customer experience. So great, glad to be here and would like to have very fruitful discussions and experience what we have gained from more than 500 plus customers on brands in India and abroad. Would love to share.
Audible.
Dharmendraji, I believe you are on mute.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. So thank you so much. And as I mentioned, I think earlier we were more focusing only the educated people or urban cities in terms of the technology. But I think now because of this, I would say technology era, this has been already expanded a lot. And even though I can see the reach of these rural areas, people also, they are very much connecting themselves with the internet in a different region. They are in social media and in a other areas as well. So definitely another point which comes in a mind related to the same thing, just an extended question, is how to extend. So technology, definitely one thing, as user experience we were talking about that earlier, that definitely was reaching somewhere that people have a little knowledge about the this web platform or mobility platform and how to use this and all. But how can we extend this to the rural areas users, I would say, who can utilize this technology and we can connect them more in this FMCG family. So Prasad, would you like your opinion if you want to add something into it? Prasad, are you on mute? Okay, so seems that he's not reachable. So Arvind, would you like to take this question?
Yeah, so I will talk about the other side. One side Param already touched on. He is from manufacturing. Right. He has his side of the story, and I am from retail. So I am having the second side of the story.
Right.
Both getting connected together using the technology innovations, and giving customer experience is critical. So now we can put a forecast demand, but if manufacturers cannot supply, they don't have a line fill, volume fill level, production, then it becomes difficult. So that's one side of it. And when you talk about reaching to rural areas, so you see, As you said, like, today everybody is techno savvy. So, you don't have to teach people how to use YouTube
Correct.
and how to use Snapchat and other, social networks. You have seen like people creating a lot of reels over the social network and distributing. And I think more players are from rural areas. So, you can understand, so like using technology is not a problem anymore for people from even villages. So it's more about, how we as service providers, either manufacturers or retailers, or how we can reach to those people, and how we address the last mile delivery problems, and how we address their needs. That's very important. Like, if you talk about various demography, the needs are different. If you talk about even FMCG, the FMCG which elite core will want to have, that maybe, the rural area person won't be having the same FMCG products. So, defining what the demography needs, what kind of assortments are suitable to that demography, that's also a critical part of business decision, apart from the technology. So, as we have seen, like, in COVID, people were in home, not reaching stores. So that was a challenge for everyone. Even it was challenge for offices also. Most of the offices are used to work from office, not work from home. So now over the night, everything changed. So as Param said, like, your 2 years was, a decade of disruption. Earlier, we used to talk about disruption in technology, but now disruption is everywhere. Disruption is in manufacturing, disruption is in supply chain, disruption is also in consumer behavior. So how a technology innovation can bring, address those disruptions, that's important. Like, we talk about a lot of technology innovations like AI, VR. People don't have to, if you talk about consumer electronics, people don't have to visit a store to get the experience. With VR, and you can bring those experience online. So all those things are important when you talk about technology innovation for end consumer.
Right, Arvind. So as you mentioned, that is really true. And sometime even I think, if you look at the large scale, this market on a high end product, if I talk about, then I think that product company used to suggest you how, when your product is required to be replaced, right? To be very frank, I think going forward, very soon that will come in a picture. If you buy a salt from a e-commerce, and then the company will propose you, boss, your salt must be going to finish. So yeah, here is added in your basket. Please check out. Right. So I think we have to look on that stage and how it is going to help. So another example, like, still in India, so because we all are very busy in our routine work, and we don't get time to reach to the shop, and that's how our utilization of e-commerce site is very high. But the people who are really have that much of space and they are able to reach to the shop, especially in the small town and T3 T4 cities, they still prefer to go to the store. So technology, unless we are not able to provide them a feeling of that store sitting at home in the mobile and tablet, it would be really hard to turn them out unless and until this COVID situation would be there, like things will get changed within a night. So I think that kind of innovation is really going to work, and definitely the demand is going to high. Appropriate supply would be there on the place, and forecasting would be accurate, so that that seller and that manufacturer also can sustain without any loss, especially in our I would say in this beverage and food segment, wherein there is a limited age of each product, right? So that definitely that will play a very key role. Thank you so much, Arvind and Param. So since we are going more deeper in this topic, the another points comes into it. The moment we talk about the technology, then I mean, power of technology in the ecosystem and high growth leveraging this part, how it is going to help us. So like driving high growth, leveraging the power of technology ecosystem, if I connect with these dots, this comes in a mind wherein while I am going to deep down in this area, then I found the few key pointers, I would say, in a bullets. Like first of all, as I mentioned, we have to increase that market reach. That is the one of the very important key. Then the another part is reduce the cost of order capturing, right? That is again, it's a very important. So as I said, high segment product cost is okay, even though if we have to pay, because the reach and the availability of the consumer is comparatively less. But the moment we enter in the lower segment of this product, then definitely that is a need, I mean basic need of all the uh, uh, members. So in that case, we have to control our cost. Then sales efficiency also need to be improved. How because these days, even though I can see like Amazon, who all are delivering, earlier they were delivering in 2 days, people were very happy. Now because of few players are there in the market who all are delivering in 15-20 minutes, right? So now their mindset is getting changed, right? How to compete with them, right? It's not easy to handle on a that level. So what is your opinion? Prasad, are you back? Prasad, you there? Okay, so seems something is wrong, maybe, or he is not able to hear us out. But anyway, so definitely, Param, I need your opinion. Again, we have to start in the same way. So I need your opinion in this part, as I also found something during my experience that what all things need to be look into it. But definitely, I look forward your opinion, and then definitely we'll come to Arvind.
Sure, Dharmendra. Taking a cue what Arvind mentioned on the rural part itself also. Definitely, so ecosystem, more importantly, we know that ecosystem needs to exist to collect the data pointers or to capture the critical data, crucial data available. I would say that more importantly, how the ecosystem is seamlessly integrated so that we are not in silos. For example, again, talking from our experience, when we talk about, let's say, a product like sales for automation. So we do have a penetration with the clients like Imami, where we have done a rural sales for the automation projects. Okay, so of course, there are a lot of things which needs to be seen, because the way the Bharat, we call it, is growing. And today's, in fact, in the last 5 years, the focus of the companies have been there. Growth rate has been kind of 15 to 20% year on year in comparison to the tier 1 cities, where it's about 3 to 4%. So in that scenario, of course, the Bharat piece is very attractive, but we have to see that how it is completely, the ecosystem is seamlessly integrated, and data flows not in silos, but it has to be, the decision making has to be holistic. And as far as sales efficiencies go, so the kind of product offering also, we know the infrastructure available there, the affordability over there, and also the level of literacy, so that people are able to adopt technology easily. We have to see it in a very different light. So even the products of the technology in terms of the UI UX and the user adaptability has to be seen in a different limelight and cannot be compared with the existing solutions made largely for the people who can understand technology easily. And we have been surprised by a lot of things like social commerce, which is taking fast place, and big companies, even like HUL, are integrating those kind of experiments into social commerce through, of course, mobile phone applications in the rural area. We have seen, the likes of TikTok, which have exploded in the creator economy by the rural India. Now, all these things, when, for a simple example, I'll take, when you have a supply chain. So there's a distributor management system which is deployed at the big distributors. Now, we have to create a product which was a mobile-based distributor management system, like DMS. This was conceived only for the rural distributors who may be doing a business worth of couple of lakhs a month, as compared to 2 crores or 50 lakhs a month in the tier 1 city. But that's how we have to leverage and this opportunity to make sure that the end consumer of the technology, whether it's a sales guy or it's a retailer or it's a distributor, wholesaler, are those people happy? Are those people uh, becoming a brand ambassador of the FMCG brands, of the companies, if their life is getting simple or not? In outcome of all that, the sales efficiency, the cost of acquisition of the client, cost of distribution of the product will, as an outcome, will become very effective, or it will become efficient what companies are demanding. So I see it from that angle. What's in it for the different stakeholders in technology, and then out of the result of it, we are going to have a larger benefit for the companies, of course, as an outcome.
Thanks, Param. Thank you. Thank you so much for detailed explanation. Having said that, in this discussion, the another part also comes in my mind, which I think Arvind, I need an opinion from Arvind as well. Arvind, as I remember, if I go back before this COVID, so our general trade and online and e-commerce, ratio was something about 70-30, or maybe in few area 80-20 or something, where in general trade, so whoever listening general trade, I'm talking about that the distribution through the channels instead of going to online. That is for their information. So Arvind, what do you think, even though that, because there are the big players in the market who have a very strong and established system in general trade, right? And e-commerce market is going to change a lot, even though this has already been done in last 2 years. So what do you think, how can we optimize, and how can we connect those general trade with the technologies and take those advantage to expand them and take in the this e-commerce line? I think you are on mute, Arvind.
So am I audible?
Yeah, very well.
Yeah. So there are big players, no doubt about it. Still, India being very complex market, you have these kirana shops and general trade, supermarkets, offline supermarkets. There is unorganized sector, a big unorganized sector, which is still not online. So even Amazon is trying to bring them online. Reliance is doing bringing kiranas online. These big players are trying to bring these general trade shops online, so that they can get benefited with the innovations, the technology, which platforms which these big players have built. They don't have to invest into it. They could be just one of the it's like in e-commerce you have store front. So it's like these people are plugging into the storefront, and the whole of the rest of the India is accessible for them. So like if you know Delhi, like there are some markets like Purani Delhi, or Sarojini Nagar market. All those are very popular. Okay, still, so now bringing these kind of markets on e-commerce platform, like providing them the storefront to which they can be accessible to a bigger audience. I think that's a area where there is a big scope. Second thing is for even technology companies, as Param talked about, and you also touched on, FMCG and these, you don't have a levy of investing a lot of money, because you have lesser margins. It's not like you are purchasing a 2 lakh TV. 2 lakh, 3 lakhs price TV. So you have a good margin into it. You can invest into a lot of technology, and you can look forward to a ROI within few months or maybe a couple of years. But if you invest a lot in technology in FMCG world, the ROI won't be there if you are not intelligently investing into technologies. Like So invest into technology with lot of information around it, like use data science, bring operations efficiency, supply chain efficiency, rather than building big platforms. Okay, so I think that's very critical. How intelligently you invest into technology to bring the cost efficiency, and at the same time you provide the experience to the end user.
Thanks, Arvind. Thanks for detailed explanation. So the next point comes, as we have mentioned, like extending to other areas, and customer experience also topic have been pointed out by Param in our previous discussion. So if we talk about the customer experience in last 3-4 years, then definitely we have done lots of changes into it, and we have made lots of improvement in those areas, right? But definitely that is not enough. Still, it's not enough, right? So we have to think about reimagining this customer experience in the new world. So I definitely I'll come in this area wherein we have to discuss more in detail. But the pointers which I was thinking, let me put it here, and then I think we can explore more in this area. As I have mentioned, this delivery experience, right? That is the one of the key area. As in human nature, definitely we can bring into it. Flexibility part, which I would say that key differentiation in factors, as I mentioned, right, in Amazon and this few companies and e-commerce sites, they are giving the delivery in very less, waiting time. Availability would be a more important the moment we are going to expand ourselves in other areas, because the population and the area is huge, right? So availability would be a very important point. So I think that's what Arvind also connected, how we can extend our GT in those areas, right, to cover it up, as they are already there in the market. And then definitely this COVID, gives us some, I would say teaches us about the contactless, transitions. So that also will play a very key role, right, in these areas. So, considering all these pointers, again, I have to come to you, Paramdeep. So, I really need your insight and opinion, and I think we'll move further with Arvind then.
Sure, Dharmendra. In fact, taking the point of view of Arvind when he was mentioning, I'm just going a bit back about the cost of the technology. I think that's where the SaaS, software as a service, is playing a huge role. Even though Indian market is yet to be untapped, even though we have a lot of product companies from India, but they're serving majorly outside India companies. But Indian companies, and we have been into this for the last 8 years, and you could see the power of SaaS, which is helping even the smaller brands, startups, to all the big wigs to have more of a OPEX model than the CAPEX model. So that's really one point I want to bring. And about the customer experience, I think it's about that omni-channel thing which is coming into picture. So we were talking about the e-commerce thing. The D2C has really disrupted, the thought process that of the people that this is possible. And all even the retail chains, they're giving the kind of an experience which is phygital. It's a combination of digital and the physical experience. So that is the CX part, the customer experience part. Is something as a consumer also, I believe, shopping from the Amazon, getting it delivered. This into an FMCG scenario, I think is the next thing which is going to be kind of next level. So the companies who are into offline have been coming into now online, and the companies like a lot of D2C brands we are working, they are coming to offline. So everybody says that it is a holistic combination, whether it's 80-20, 70-30, and even also I'm talking about GT and the modern trade and the e-commerce and the D2C. Ultimate winner is the consumer, no doubt about it. But yes, this is becoming a bit challenging for the brands also to manage the kind of experience that they have. in their own strength in the general trade. Of course, right now the general trade is the king. We talk about the market share. The study says it's maybe 80% to 90% anywhere of it. And the traditional channel kirana stores we have seen in the pandemic also, they became the heroes. For the nearby, especially in tier 2, tier 3. But we also saw the emergence of a lot of technology startups, companies, and now we are talking about it's been happening, the 10 minutes deliveries. So all came up, I think some or the other way was the convenience factor of the customer experience itself. But how it's going to be, one entity managing all the channels to give that kind of a superb experience. But the technology is the only way out over there, and I seriously feel that this is one area which will give us a lot of surprises. Okay, like in pandemic, I remember the companies, big companies in FMCG tying up with Swiggy and Zomato for deliveries. Okay, so these kind of new models which we saw as an experiment, some of them have been really come up with something which is a long lasting. And we as a technology company, when we see the problem solving of FMCG, we are partnering with a lot of third-party applications. The rise, especially if you see the kind of lot of applications which distributors were never ever willing to jump onto. Now they are using technology on their mobile application for billing, for accounting, for stock taking, checking, and the companies are giving good incentives and faster claim settlements all through technology. So there are a lot of big wigs. We have seen a good case studies coming out of it. It has really given a huge push, and as far as customer is concerned, if the stockouts are not happening, they're getting their favorite brand on the shelf, and they're having a lot of brands to compete to understand, because brand loyalty right now, I'll say, has gone for a bit of a toss, because the innovation what has happened in consumer good companies, that has really given a lot of options for the consumers of new age, or the consumers of the millennial consumers. What we see, they are hands-on, and that's something which is going to give us a lot of new things to look at the way FMCG has been operating.
Great, Param. So I think that one pointers you have highlighted about SaaS. Definitely this, services, and even though product agent services, these all are going to play a very key role in a technology, not only even for a small business. This will help to reduce the cost for large scale business as well, wherein considering that, like 5 and 10 years before, that company used to have a one separate IT division to develop all their things for themselves, and then they were going to take a licenses and all other things. Now we can see, even though open source market and these service kind of products, product agent service, managed service, I think these all things are going to help a lot, and definitely they are started playing a very key role in this area. Yeah, so Arvind, we definitely look forward to your experience, and we want to hear something from you as well, your opinions.
So I think you both touched on a lot of areas, SaaS, PaaS, partnering with the startups, so these are, nowadays even business has a lot of choices around, as Param rightly said, any startup, any new company doesn't have to invest into everything. You have ready-made, partners available for various things. So how efficiently you use those resources? These are actually resources in a way. The startups which are there addressing various areas, which are not addressed by big players. So they are taking niche areas, addressing those pain areas, so you can collaborate with them. Then you have SaaS, PaaS model. There is you don't have to purchase even hardware today, so everything is on cloud. So starting is easy, and then sustaining is next level. So how efficiently you sustain, like how you are using data science, data analytics, insights, whenever customer is coming to you, what kind of personalization, what kind of data science you are putting, what kind of customer analysis you're doing, that drives the customer experience. Arvind Singh in offline store and Arvind Singh in online store should not be different, though they both play differently. It's easy to say any company which is online can be offline or eager to come offline, and any company which is offline is eager to come online, but they both are different game altogether. So it's the companies have to take intentional, very deliberate decision from going one channel to another, and addressing what the need of that channel. So now the way offline works, online doesn't work the same way. So now it has to your approach should be very mature to meet the expectations of customer. So that's one part. The another part I said, like how that omni-channel experience for a customer is brought in. That's important. Third, you touched on, like digital payments, social payments, like WhatsApp is being exercised now, just explode for making payments. So it's still in exploration. That is also important. Like people don't want to jump from one platform to another. So if everything can be enabled at one place, that's also an important expectation. And at the same time, there is a apprehension or concern over security. So I can enable lot of channels for payments, but are those channels secure enough? Does it give me as a customer of trust to make those payments through those channels? That's also very important. As Param said, it's Bharat. It's not, in Bharat, people are very, concerned about channels, the security, data privacy, all those things. Even if you want to do customer analysis in the store by capturing images of customer or tagging the customer with their name, those are tagging a customer with his name and with his phone number is not legally allowed. So
yeah, that is a compliance issue.
So keeping all those compliances constraints in mind, what kind of insights you can bring to provide a customer delight, improve a customer experience in the store, outside the store, online, and with in the brand engagement. That's very critical.
Yeah, Arvind. So one thing comes in my mind the moment you said payment options. So payment options, definitely that people are concerned, and also we have to look at the future. We have to handle the risk also, looking at current Ukraine and Russia war. So there most of the systems are down because of the payment routing, right? so that is also, I mean, it's on lighter mode, definitely. But that also now people have to start looking into it, how to handle that kind of situation in future. Yeah, it's a good point, Arvind. Thank you for sharing your experience. And definitely, so having said that, now we have talked about customer experience, we have talked about the technologies and other areas. Keeping all this in a mind, I mean, definitely I need your opinion for the future FMCGs, how they need to build themselves to prepare for future, right? So as I mentioned, even though risk also for payment option, the services part, the security part, the as Arvind, you have mentioned about the customer privacy. So all those areas, what you think? I mean, preparing for this future FMCG in terms of the IT. Yeah, Arvind.
So I think future, all these risks or concerns are already there. So, future of any technology or FMCG is more towards, how efficiently we can use the innovations which are coming in. So, all digital innovations, there is AI, ML, cloud, how efficiently you're using it, applying this, keeping these concerns in mind. So when you talk about privacy or security, whether you have done enough, provisions to secure the data, customer data, secure the payments. Have you done enough provision for securing the privacy of customer? So all those are actually governance which should be there, and more of best practices which should be there, kept in mind while building the technology platform and providing bringing the innovation, and and engaging the customer with any FMCG provider.
Okay, that's good point. So definitely, Param, I need your opinion on this topic as well. So as Arvind has mentioned in a few bullets, would you like to highlight few things here?
Yes, I totally agree with Arvind on the processes, the compliances, the security part, because even it's not easy for FMCG companies, because just in a matter of few months, they are expected to perform in a way that has not been dealt with. After all, the one point which I want to really highlight is about people. The people in the companies, they are trustworthy people, loyal people. They are working for years. The distributors, the people in the supply chain, back end, finance, admin, everywhere, sales. But the people transformation is key to the technology transformation, I would say. So if the top management, generally what we are discussing over here, we understand, we really appreciate that this is the way forward, these are the challenges, and it's not going to be cakewalk at all, especially keeping in mind whether the product is suitable for the kind of market we are putting in, and also having good data security practices. But more importantly, whether apart from top management, the real focus for the transformation should come, how this data-driven culture is getting percolated from top to the bottom line. That is where so we have tools, that's good, but the adoption of tools will come with a change in the mindset, and it has to be done fast. So fortunately, unfortunately, the disruption or the change is accelerated. Okay, it was not expected like that to happen. But how much, I would, being from the FMCG company and having a love and passion for it, I feel that a lot of investment should go also in the training of the people how to read data. Of course, the technology is giving a lot of nudges in terms of machine learning or AI or whatever algorithms are running to tell people that what to sell, for example, when to sell, how to sell. All those things are there in the picture. But I really wish that this transformation percolates down to the bottom of the pyramid. And for that, companies sooner or later, and I feel the companies which will be doing this, adopting this sooner, we are seeing a lot of companies we're working with that are adapting these practices of change management with technology perspective, are going to win, basically. And that is for a foot soldier, the sales guy who's earning maybe 15, 20,000, how is he using his pocket MIS at, let's say, in the field assist to do a sales which was not conceivable earlier without technology, but now he's able to sell better, more SKUs because he knows auto applied schemes are coming. Similarly, distributor is having the data in hand that what best use of working capital I can make. I need to make these inventory replenishments faster. These can be in 15 days or so. And of course, at the back end, then companies are sending their material accordingly with the automatic replenishment systems. But all this will be, of course, a two-way approach. It can't be just push, it can't be just pull. It has to be hand in hand. So companies are pushing, technology ecosystem is pushing, people are adopting. It's interesting to see that there's a healthy conflict also, but there's a healthy growth emerging out of that conflict. Old versus new mentality. But it's the people who are going to be the key ingredient to change this FMCG industry ecosystem. And India can do it. I know because it is very complex, but we also have leaders over here who have been doing it for years, and now it's just a matter of doing it in the masses. And the kind of startup ecosystem what we are getting, the disruption which was earlier not even thinkable, unimaginable, is happening in India. So I'm very, very hopeful and excited.
Thanks, Param. So I think one part is, we have to bring and explore more in this area, wherein we are talking about the order collection and manufacturing part. I think as Arvind has highlighted initially that how we are able to maintain that fulfillment, right? Accuracy of the fulfillment part in the initial stage. As per the current process, that order is, I mean, somewhere 60%. In our e-commerce, most of the ratios are automated in terms of the ordering part and in terms of the forecasting and all. But the moment we enter in the general trade market, wherein still it's a very huge market in India, in that case, the order part and forecasting part, somewhere it's not that accurate. If I talk about the lower segment product, not in high segment product, because in high segment product still we are able to manage. But in lower segment product, the order is still somewhere it's a manipulated. Forecasting is also required some manipulation, depending on in India, wherein there is a different, I would say festival period in region wise, state wise, area wise, and all those things. So wherein we are in a country have a similar kind of festival across that might be comparatively easy, but here in every maybe 100 kilometers or 200 kilometers things are getting changed, right? So Arvind, I really need your opinion in this area. I mean, definitely hear you out. Your experience, as you have mentioned, you are moreover in detail looking into it. So, I mean, what do you think? How can we expedite that, and how can make the more accurate in that area? And not only the overall product part, but definitely the localization as well.
See, as you said, like ordering, to be accurate in ordering, you should have insights to the data.
Correct.
So when you have insights to assortment, stock, you can make your ordering accurate. So once you make your ordering accurate, it is related to forecast also. So considering forecast considering the forecast in consideration, considering the sales happening during the season, considering what is the stock which is on the way. One, you called it
in transit. Yeah.
In transit. All those things keeping in mind, you place an order. So once the order is placed, so any FMCG today cannot say that they are 100% there to fulfill the order. So now even Pepsi, Thumbs Up, all those companies also don't fulfill 100% orders. So that's there. That's a given problem. So, and when we talk about small players, the fulfillment is even less. So
right.
So all those are practical challenges. I am not saying the FMCG companies are not bothered about it. They are looking into it. It's more about demand, manufacturing, scale of manufacturing. It's more of supply chain also. Like it requires supply chain efficiency. Also as part of this whole ecosystem. So and then storage facility, distributed DCs. You can't have just one DC catering to a lot of places. So how you can distribute the DCs across areas, zones. All those are part of things which FMCG companies might be are looking into it to address these needs. I think that's
and I think that things makes very complex to make the forecasting, right? Definitely, I agree with you.
Keep in mind the demography. You have to keep in mind seasonality. You have to keep in mind you just touched on Ukraine war. If
right.
The company in Ukraine might have forecasted something, the war happened and everything. So that happens. Like if you see any day, someday a flood comes in Mumbai, all your forecast will go for a toss for a week.
Right.
Rainy seasons, how rainy seasons are in Mumbai. So
correct.
While forecasting, whether you are considering the weather, the events around, the season, all those things are the data points which needs to be part of the forecast.
And one more challenge I can see even in this current, when the things are getting moved in digital market and online in e-commerce, I can see there is a no consistency of connecting these consumers with a product.
That's important.
So
See,
yeah,
a store, offline store can order a lot of things.
right.
But now, if those many customers are not purchasing from offline store, the dump will increase.
Correct.
So all those aspects, because there is expiry to everything. 6 months
Correct.
expiry, 3 times expiry. When you talk about fresh, you have just 2
Yeah.
days of expiry time. So
Correct.
it's very critical, to look into those aspects also. So you have to be very considerate while giving orders in placing the orders. Otherwise, it's a loss if things don't work your way.
Correct. So I think Paramdeep Arvind is highlighting and wanted to say that you have to expand your manufacturing across instead of sitting in T1 cities.
For distribution, at least, not manufacturing, at least the distribution part.
Yeah, so general trade definitely, yeah, that definitely required to expand. So this is another point. If we talk about the IT and we try to compare this IT with such FMCG manufacturing and all these areas, even though IT is also expanding themselves to reach to tier 3 and tier 4 cities to connect with the local engineers, right? With this current demand, I mean, supply is very low. So I think such kind of things would be there in future, maybe in this market, if we really want to send something fresh hand to hand, then definitely manufacturing also need to be distributed. Yes, definitely I agree with you, Arvind, the dealer part and distribution part. But even though if dealer is there and manufacturing is somewhere a little far, then logistic and other areas will take some time, right? So freshness would be on toss. So Parandeep, need your final opinion, and then I think we can start taking the questions from audience.
Okay, I think what Arvind has mentioned in relation to the retail chains and otherwise offline presence of the stores, what are the different? It's a complex area. See, no doubt about it. It's India being a very fragmented ecosystem, and it's comprising sort its own sub ecosystems. There's no standardization which is being followed. It could be either rules, compliances, or the behavior of the people. So one important thing also in technology, it's all about GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. If the data collection points are not standardized, or it's not something people being trained how to use it, of course your things can go haywire. Unlike online, which is completely digitized. But in general trade, this is definitely a challenge. But the good part, what I'm seeing with the use of technology, is that this gap is becoming narrower. Of course, it still today exists. This gap is becoming narrower. And the technology part on it, the prediction part of it, today is still, except few big companies, what we are working and observing is where they are able to control this and make it a part of their SOP. It's working out really good for them. Of course, not pan India, but in some few markets where the data collection has been excellent. Okay, as compared to the overall, let's say if you're working with 500 companies, there it is taking some more time to bridge that gap. But as I see, the good part is the gap is becoming narrower, faster and faster. And of course, thanks to the what we have as the technology and deploying technology at each stakeholder level, the whole ecosystem being covered. And that's how, because if I see that 8 years back, 7 years back, we started the Salesforce automation system. And now we have a complete distribution management system into picture. The idea is to complete the loop and not only stop over there, but also have that kind of a intelligence into picture, that server central nervous system, you can say, which will prompt people to do the right things. But today, today it's right now it's the data sensitivity also is not very high, but it is becoming better and better day by day. So that predictions can become better and better day by day. So it's a journey. That what I can say.
Yes, so I agree with you that the reach, I mean the forecasting accuracy and manufacturing it getting narrowed down the moment that consumer is connecting online, and we are able to make more better forecasting. in this area. But I think this is I mean, we have to go little longer considering that current population. But yes, I agree with you, Paramdeep. Thank you so much. So Basant joined us slightly late, but I definitely need his opinion as well. Basant, if you would like to share, I mean, preparing for future of FMCG IT, this is the topic on which we were discussing now. So we definitely would like to hear you out.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, Dharmendra, and it's nice to join. And my apologies for the delay. Um, as far as Perfectly is concerned, how we are working on that, and we have a roadmap of next 3 years, and we have been working on the digital strategy since 2017 when we started our 100% secondary sales automation and go-to-market model. We are already covering our entire Salesforce through the Salesforce automation tools. We are in very recently we have enabled artificial intelligence model wherein it is actually driving sales by giving nudges to the sales team. The next thing which we did is in the last year, basis on the situation we were having due to COVID, is to connect with the retailers, wherein we adopted social selling platform first time in FMCG segment to see that we don't need to really visit them when there is a situation, because several times the sales guys were unwell, and then there were challenges related to restrictions of movement. So these platforms further helped us, and then the next level is to see that how we scale this solution to the wider retailer community, and having two-way interaction with them. So not only we are doing engagements actively, but also the sales is happening through these tools, which is using the social selling platform. To also see that how we are able to use the data specifically for analytics and decision making, because the number of data points are huge. For example, we are visiting, for example, one sales guy is visiting 40 to 50 retailer in a day. And then at the same time, the retailer also has got a tool which is allowing them to enter the products. The number of people who are actually generating this huge data is multiplying the products on an average, say 5 to 6 products per retailer, multiply with the number of retailers. For example, we have 40,000 retailers who are connected to this tool, and then we are targeting
Yeah, Basant, I think we lost you. Are you able to hear us? Param, I'm audible, right?
Yes.
Yes.
which is readily available on big data platform.
Hey, sorry, Basant, we lost you in between for a 30-second.
My apologies. I think
it's okay. Go ahead,
could be
please.
connectivity. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
right.
then integrating this entire platform with big data platform, which allows us to have a clear opportunity of visibility, like which markets we need to tap in, which categories how we are doing, and which categories we have to focus upon. So these are already in roadmap to be completed in next 1 year, and then further we are looking at how further we can bring in more machine learning and AI as a platform to consistently improve and optimize our filling rate in the market by using these technological platform, wherein we are connected to over 3,000 plus sales guys, over 2,000 plus distributor, and approximately 1 lakh of retailers through these tools. And the scaling will continue to go. So including the end-to-end integration, right from the primaries to the retailer solution with the clear look of analytics, a kind of real-time visibility, how it is happening end-to-end.
So that's great. I mean, you are able to capture the journey of the product coming out from primary until tertiary and I would say customer hand, maybe if you have some provision for a bar scanning and all other things. That's great, Basant. Thank you so much for sharing your opinion. And definitely, that's what we were even discussing before you joined us about that general trade models, e-commerce models, and all that we have discussed. And considering this time constraint, I would like to invite Priyanka or Elden team. Although we are enjoying well and I think we have lots of topic to discuss. Still, we can go. But yeah, Priyanka, please let me know if you have any questions, and let the panel will take it up.
Yeah, Dhanvir. So we have question from Mr. Sunil Kumar. He's asking how to heat customer experiences while reimagining technology.
So that's great. I mean, that was the same topic we have discussed just this last one. So we got a good insight from Paramdeep. So Paramdeep, if you want to take this question, and then definitely we'll take a Basant opinion as well.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question, please? I didn't get it very correctly.
Priyanka, would you like to repeat?
Yeah. The question is how to heat customer experiences while reimagining technology.
How to heat customer experiences while reimagining?
Paramdeep, you're not audible properly.
Yeah, Priyanka, can you just repeat it? I'm not able to express something.
Yeah, how to heat customer experiences while reimagining technology.
Okay. So what I've understood from the question is that you're saying that with the leveraging technology, how to have a better customer experiences or that customer delight.
Reimagination of customer experience.
Reimagination of customer experience.
Correct.
I got it. I think it's very much in the practice nowadays. You see either from the brand's perspective or from the consumer perspective, the way we are doing shopping, the way we are purchasing our daily needs, it is definitely not at all the same what it used to be 6 months back, and definitely not what it used to be even a couple of years back. So even from the online perspective, the grocery you are ordering, coupled with the physical infrastructure or let's say dark stores, and also having an algorithm in place to predict when your expected time of delivery is, and in the general trade, if we look at it, whether we take any company example, the company is able to place the products much faster in the shelf and with a better predictability of the tertiary sales which can happen, and also keeping in mind the cost into consideration. Even if they are dealing with, let's say, 200 SKUs or 500 SKUs, their product placement and product assortment, starting from the salesman level who knows in his Salesforce automation application, like this is something based on the past history, based on the last 3 months data, pickup data, or in-transit data, seasonality, a lot of things can be played into that, what is the delivery ratio versus the order ratio, what is to be placed at this particular order so that we do not get the expiry, we do not get the return back, and we do not block the working capital of the retailer. So for us, for the brands, in the general trade, the real customer is the retailer, right? You have to reach the retailer at the right time, at the right cost, and at the right place. Like you can't have something which is for the retailer of A category and you have something for the retailer of B category. It has to be taken into consideration. So a lot of pointers, even Mr. Basant mentioned, has to be seen. But yes, it is happening for real with the use of rural DMS, rural SFA, and then prediction of what is to be ordered. It is happening for the real. And we call our eyewitnesses. So even the prediction in the digital model, the kind of trackers what we have in identifying what you are searching for and then popping up the ads, all is very much visible. And personally, for me, the consumer experience has been fantastic. Even my daughter is very fond of ordering from Amazon quickly. Okay, anything in the world can be ordered on Amazon for her, even through Alexa. So those consumer experiences, of course, technology is taken to a very next level. It has its own other effects as well. But yeah, so I think we are all witnessing it on a daily level, what's happening around. And we are getting very used to it. It's become very normal to order now 10 minutes delivery is very normal nowadays. In Gurgaon, where we are sitting, which earlier used not to be so prevalent.
Yeah, thanks, Param. So that's what I mentioned, even though we have already discussed in this topic. Priyanka, let me give more, precise bullets into it, as Param is already mentioned, that delivery experience, flexibility, quality, availability, contact lens, and payment options. So these are, although it is there, but lots of corrections and improvements required in these areas. And this definitely would play a very key role of customer experience reimagining in the future. Yeah, Priyanka, I would like to take another question. Yeah, Basant, sorry. Yeah, please go ahead.
So I just wanted to add a couple of things. I think it's more about how less time a customer spend when they are actually needing some information on product. And specifically when we talk about retailers, like whatever the schemes and incentives are there, how readily they are getting it, then whether the right bundle of product we are able to offer them, basis on their past histories. So the machine learning piece, you already talked about them in there, about that various payment option, because today we are into digital economy. We are in, most of the things are happening digitally. See what all options we can provide them, and if they have any concerns, so that consumer feedback, they should be able to raise concern, and they should be able to get real-time feedback on product or information they need, and a visibility to track their order progress. So how, where is their order, how soon they are getting in, and in case, so as Paramdeep talked about, if there is a return required, in case, how we are able to facilitate that. So this all is available today through technological platform, and with AI ML into it, it is progressing very well with the, with new nudges and support and engagement piece with the customers.
Yes, the last point, return is also make a very good impact on the consumer while they were going to, stay on a particular site. And I think that's what the biggest reason of this Amazon, as Paramdeep is also mentioned in our previous discussion. So considering this time constant, Priyanka, we are here to take another question.
Yeah, that's all with the question.
Oh, great. So I think you are also, considering this time crunch. Huh? Although we are very happy, and definitely we would like to take it up further. At Basant also joined, Arvind is also back again. So we can take it up for another next 1 hour, Priyanka. Anyway, so
might have other panel discussions also.
Yeah. So it was really a great connect. Although me, Paramdeep, and Arvind were there, and later on Basant also joined. So I think this was a very insight and great discussion. Definitely, I found lots of things on a personal level, and definitely our listeners also able to connect them, and they might have got an appropriate answer on their queries. So thank you so much, Param, Arvind, and Basant. Definitely we'll connect again, maybe in a similar topic, and we can go more deeper into it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, before leaving, I request everyone to please smile so that we can take a screenshot.
So Arvind, can you please enable your camera?
Till that I will just correct my mustache.
Yeah. So anyway, Priyanka, my face is anyway is a smiling one, so you can take any time.
Okay, thank you, leaders. Thank you.
Oh, you didn't say ready. I mean, Basant might have missed something. Anyway, thank you so much. Thanks everyone. Bye-bye. Take care.
Now we have third panel for the day, and the topic is Steering Digital Transformation in FMCG. Today, 100+ CXOs and attendees are watching this live on our website. Here I call the moderator Varun Mitra from GSK Consumer, Arvind Singh from Reliance Retail, Harish Navratna from Britannia, Sumit Rao from Netmeds, and Yugendra Singh from Barista, and Yashasvi from Freshworks. Now I request the moderator to please start the discussion.
Absolutely. First of all, a very quick
Also,
check.
I would really like to introduce Mr. Basant Chaturvedi.
Thank you, Namrata.
Perfect. Perfect. Everybody, good afternoon. Am I audible, loud and clear?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Yes,
audible.
Varun.
Perfect. Thank you so very much, Priyanka and Amrita, for putting us all together in one room. I hope we are all able to learn from each other's experience, and everybody who's listening to us is able to, I think, pick up on the experience that this room brings to the table. I'm sure it's upwards of 15 years of experience. Everybody, barring me, of course, in this panel discussion carries. So loads and loads to learn from. I would really request all of you all to tune in and keep your learning hat on as we head into this 1 hour of discussing how does digital shape the next wave of change as we get into this new world, which is post COVID. uh, Obviously the times in terms of the markets are also very challenging, and how do we move forward from here is something that we'll want to learn from the likes of Arvind, Harish, Sumit, Yashasvi. I can also see Basanji, as well as I think Pankaj is the new entrant I can see on the screen. So welcome everyone. Thank you so very much, and a very good afternoon as we get into this. Right, I, I think we started with some inputs, and Dharmendra already has shared to all of our listeners a lot around how is the consumer experience evolving, how is the entire set of let's say retail as well as the overall industry landscape evolving. I will want to start with a fresh perspective, I think, with Sumit on how is it been for Netmeds specifically, as we start with the e-commerce as the focus area. And I think how is it that you are thinking about transformation specifically for growth, right? That's the key thing, Sumit. I think we'll want to maybe start on, and then I'll obviously move to the other panelists.
Sure. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me and for this opportunity. Right. So I think at a very brief level, what I would tell is what we are doing in Netmeds is majorly we are selling, pharmaceutical products as well as FMCG products. Right. So of course, there are a couple of additional challenges that we have in pharma compared to, pure FMCG, right? Obviously, the customer expectation is, always very high. And in India, it's going higher and higher every day, right? People are expecting now, if you see with like kind of Instamart and all those kind of instant delivery starting, people are expecting if I have to put on my clothes, go out and come back. If I order an app, I should get the stuff before, the time should be lesser than if I go myself, right? Even if it's like just the next door thing, right? With that, it puts additional, challenges on technology that you cannot make mistakes, right? And especially when we are in, pharmaceutical space, it's even more tougher, right? Because, and with that, there is additional regulation that we have, like, we cannot provide everything that is available unless and until you have a valid prescription. So there is a manual touch point which we have, which we already are we cannot give something on expired prescription, or we cannot give excess of what is on the prescription. So that is still kind of we are not there in terms of technology where we can automate that seamlessly, right? So what kind of challenges we are having is pretty much same what every e-commerce has. optimizing the supply chain, personalizing, the customer experience, achieving delivery excellence, and on top of that, abiding by the law, right? That is so yeah, I think so what we are working on definitely is like, obviously at every touch point we are trying to identify what is the bottlenecks in our process, standardizing it, automating it, and of course you have to also, on the side by side, we want to predict what kind of demands are there, because of course, be it the, availability of the, SKUs or the space of storing the inventory, nothing is, unlimited, right? So we have to optimize and predict and keep on, having a very tight feedback loop so that we are improving. So what one
Absolutely.
thing, yeah. So I'll just add
Yeah.
one more point. I don't want to take
Sure.
up too much time, and then we can, go ahead into
Sure, sure.
discussion. One more thing, what we are trying to do in NetMeds is like we are trying to seamlessly, add everything, right? What a customer comes, what they search, how many searches they take to, place an order, whether they are getting when they place an order, whether what is the tag they are getting, whether the tag breach is happening, why the tag is higher. So like even try to bring, and it tries back to the supply chain side of the thing also, right? Whether we have the inventory available to the closest point for the customer. So yeah, so it's like it's definitely a big data problem. Plus
Absolutely,
lot
absolutely.
of yeah, so that is
No,
what
I think I would and so will all the other panelists, in terms of understanding and appreciating the challenges when you have to do pharma as well as CPG side by side, whereas some FMCG products will be such which will have a very not so regulated, a very regular, maybe in some cases demand, and that is something that you have to again fulfill on your platform. At the same time, you also have to keep the pharma regulations and maintain the other side of the assortment also on the platform. I know that's absolutely a challenge which you are faced with, and you're saying that it's already a big data problem for you, so I'm assuming the size of the data that you are dealing with is humongous, right? That being said, just a last bit, Sumit, maybe from your perspective, and then we understand it from the other e-commerce players who are evolving in this space, is that there is obviously a mix between that offline and online, that a lot of the Zivames and the Lenscarts and the Nikas of the world are trying to crack, right? What is that percentage of assortment that I should have in my offline stores? What is the interplay in terms of pricing? What is the interplay in terms of the consumer experience? How much of it should I focus on online? And what is it, whether does it make sense for NetMeds also to go into an offline sort of a way and then compete with the Apollo pharmacies and the other giants in this space? So what is NetMeds, and what is your take on that, the mix between the offline and online bit on this?
So there are two things like I would like to say, right? So first and foremost, like if you may be aware that NetMeds is part of Reliance Retail. So with Reliance, obviously, the goal is obviously, pan India in every, and so we are definitely working on, hyper local. We already have NetMed stores, but in Reliance parlance, obviously, you can say like eventually it may be possible that we may be available, at least from a medicine standpoint, in every Reliance outlet also. That wow. I am not sure. That is not that definitely we are going to be available local also. What is other things that we have in terms of the capabilities? We have doctor consultation also, but we are not it's an online doctor consultation we have. We have diagnostic also. So we are looking at expanding on all the three things.
Okay.
The goal for this year mostly is to have the same day delivery or few hours delivery, which will involve all this like local as well as same city inventory, dark stores, whatever you may say. So
Yeah. All right. Understood. So you're trying to maintain that mix, and obviously with the backing of Reliance, I think that offline play is just a matter of time. The moment it sort of happens for you. Right now, obviously, it's a good healthy demand on the online side that you're seeing, right? So I think lovely to understand that. I will want to also now take a perspective. I think from Mr. Basant, who carries over from the discussion, and also understand a little bit around Perfetti, right, where I'm sure that a lot of integration is happening, as you mentioned, and we were just overlooking on that. So any specific uh, challenges that you see specifically on the secondary side, where what we understand is that the data on secondaries is slightly noisy. How can we in your experience, is Nielsen giving us that right input or that right guidance, or is the retailer level data, how good or how bad is that? And from your guidance, how can we leverage that to our advantage? Probably if you could maybe share some details on that.
Thanks, Varun. I think you have touched upon the exact point of noisy data, which is specifically a challenge when you have large
Yeah.
set of users to serve, and so it is not only the product, it's not only the packs, it is not only the freshness information of the stocks, it is also about the sales guys who are visiting the market.
Yeah.
It is about the hierarchies which are associated with the product and sales guy. It is also about the retailers who are connected with you. It is also about the routing of to visit. So what is the plan? We call it as a PJP. So what is the plan? And that which we are planning in advance. Then there are at times deviations which also needs to be captured. Then a lot of parameters and data are getting configured in the system. So it is not limited to selling. It is also about the activity which they do in the market. It is also about the
Yeah.
the videos and other information they share with the people. It is also about the schemes which are ongoing and getting introduced in the market. It is also about the feedback which they have to receive about the product or about the services they are delivering to the retailers. So it's having huge impact.
Humongous.
Yeah. And to manage it
Absolutely.
is really a challenge, and specifically the market is so volatile, specifically after the COVID pandemic and all, that the turnover of the sales team is also high. So if somebody is leaving, somebody is joining, then you have to map everything with that. The product is mapped, the routing has to be mapped, the retailers has to be mapped. So one or other things are getting missed. So managing it is a difficult task, and here everybody would agree that there are challenges in it. So we try to
Absolutely.
correct that. Specifically the month end exercise is like that. We have to see that the plan which is happening in the last week of month is on the basis of the latest update which we have received. Still we face challenges, and the cleaning activity continues. So there is a dedicated
Okay.
team for every region, so northeast, west, south.
Wow.
So there is a dedicated team who is particularly working on managing the data hygiene. There is a dedicated call center which receives the call from all these endpoints, which means the sales guys, the retailers, etc., to log
Mm-hmm.
their call and address them. There are stringent SLAs which are maintained just to ensure that the calls are getting addressed on time. Otherwise, the customers are dissatisfied, and then your market work is impacted. We are a secondary driven organization, so and the inventory is also jet. So as soon as it is going to the secondary market, it is sold. So the
Wow.
movement is happening so fast. To keep the pace with that fast movement is also another challenge. So we are consistently working on it. And yes, in last 2 years we have seen some kind of maturity has come in those areas. But still,
Okay.
every year, you talked about so many applications are there. Every year there is a new application getting added into the system. The integrations are happening. So we are getting another task of maintaining that data hygiene. So which is keep on happening.
Absolutely. No, I think very, very, very valid points, sir, when you say that. There has been a lot of thinking when you mentioned 2017 is when you started on the digital roadmap, right? And 24 months is what has probably taken, and that's a learning for all of us in some sense that, talking about data is one part of the problem, but then maturing the processes around maintaining data hygiene, which sort of innately would come to somebody like NetMeds, who have an online platform and they can really mine and learn a lot from that data. For us, people who are sitting in the offline world, it's a very, very important practice, and that's what we are taking away from your experience. That
So
we need to invest in these resources as well. Yes, please.
one more thing I would like to add, we are consistently monitoring the performance of the sales
Okay.
guy. So what is actually we have planned and what is that is able to achieve. And not only the sales
Okay.
guy, but the products, how the different brands, high value packs are performing, the focus brands are doing. So that is consistently monitored. So even if the person is looking at his KPI in the afternoon, he knows what he has to do in the next half of the day. So that
Wow.
only is possible when you have the right data in place and the KPIs are consistently monitored. So even that is also happening.
Wow. Wow. I mean, it's a next level of maturity, I believe, and probably it's an opportune time for us to learn from Mr. Harish, your experience as well on similar lines. I know it'll be worthwhile to understand your take on this, on
Yeah, I
secondaries, and
think
how are you
I
managing
agree
it?
with whatever person said. So the additional challenges which will be there is basically the channels with which you service. So basically, when
Yeah.
you look at the NetMeds of the world and things like that, it's an e-com business for us, and there is a modern trade business, there is a general trade business, and there is a lot of things which goes through wholesale. For example, our product should be available in 30 million outlets, but we probably reach out 15 million or 16 million directly.
Wow.
So the rest of it is going through wholesale. How do we
Okay.
capture that data? It becomes a challenge. So we are moving more and more towards a substockist kind of a thing who can actually feed in those data. So the data collection
Okay.
is becoming more, and linking it with the supply chain. So basically, as Basan said, how do we replenish what is sold in the market, for which there are things which needs to be put in place, and also what are the demands to simulators which are coming in. For example, there are schemes that he talked about. When you put a scheme, then the sales pattern will change. How do we actually capture that, bring it into the planning cycle, make it work for us? And especially in our business, the travel of the end product has to be as minimal as possible. So therefore, we have factories spread across everywhere, and then you do it.
Okay.
Yes, it has made a lot of changes from the 2019 when we started this journey, where we have now gone online on the entire secondaries. But
Wow.
the challenges are every day there is a new challenge which is going to come up as the e-com develops, as the wholesale site picks up, and especially in the pandemic where we were not able to send our guys on the beats that he was talking about in terms of where people could go. We were dependent on the data that is flowing in, and probably more dependent on the wholesale channel where people were picking it up. So those angles is where we brought in, and we brought in certain transformation where we said that WhatsApp based ordering system was brought in, where we could integrate our outlets, and the outlets could actually place their orders. While we say that we can give them a screen to place order, it was not a success because nobody wants to type in everything. So you have to bring in certain analytics to look at what is the suggested order, so that it goes with to him saying that this is the normal routine that you buy and these are the things that we propagate. and he makes amends where required, and therefore it can come in. So these were the challenges which we faced in the pandemic. Now things are settling in better. People are moving in, and as Basant rightly put it, it is not only looking at inventory and the stocks, it is looking at the price at which it is getting sold, the schemes that are operating, the salesmen that are getting engaged. And the biggest challenge we are facing now is on getting the substockist data, because most of the substockists are not exclusive for Britannia. So they will have other stuff, and most of them cut manual bills. And we really need to push them for bringing it onto the system, while not much of incentive goes to him for bringing it in.
Yeah.
So the veracity of that data is becoming a challenge. So we have put in a help desk who actually tries to verify the data which has come on a random basis with the outlets to get the veracity of the data and then do it. And we have actually integrated it completely with the ERP. We have the DMS sits on top of ERP to that extent. The master discrepancies are avoided. But however, the outlets, when we really go on a drive to increase coverage and things like that, can become a suspect. So therefore, we have put in a lot of effort in establishing how do we validate, how do we verify the outlet data, and how do we verify the substockist data that is coming in. So these are the key challenges that I'm facing currently. But it has widely improved from where we were in 2018, where we were offline and we were getting data one day in a lag. And now, as Basant put it, we can actually plan for the second half based on the first half results.
Wow. No, it's I mean, really commendable. I think what you mentioned, Harish ji, in terms of not just when you're saying that the scale is 30 million outlets and people go bonkers when they understand that. Obviously not Arvind, because he's any which ways from the retail side, so he will know.
For him, it will look like a
he'll be able
minuscule
to,
number actually.
For Arvind, it may be a very small number, but
Correct.
I mean, in the parlance of CPG, I think it's a huge number in terms of outlet coverage. But when you say that, it's been 2 years that we have put processes, when you're thinking so, I think ahead in terms of also looking at
We actually started in 2019. We went live in 21 April completely.
Wow.
It's a long journey.
No, I mean, it takes a lot of thinking, it takes a lot of investment, and kudos to that. I mean, persistence that you brought to the table. I think I'll just quickly also take Arvind, sir, your perspective on this in terms of Reliance Retail. When you look at the veracity of data, which Harish ji mentioned that it's a big challenge. What has been your learnings on this journey, sir, and how do you manage it?
So I will before starting, I will correct a little bit. Like Sumit, I am part of Reliance Retail. I don't directly look into Reliance Retail. I head 7-Eleven, which is a new format in Reliance Retail. Okay. So for a start, we are like a startup. A startup has its own challenges. So now, challenges of where to open a store. From there you start. Where the demographic works. From there you start. What kind of assortment you will bring in? Whether you are the assortments are fulfilling the needs of TG, which you are targeting. How the convenience retail is different than traditional retail, like a Big Bazaar, Easy Day. Convenience retail has a different challenges. So people come for impulse shopping. On the go, ready to eat, impulse shopping. All those concepts, come in consideration when you talk about convenience retail, which are typically not there in traditional retail. In Big Bazaar, people go for 1 month or 15-day shopping. So they have big basket for which they go, and they don't go trading. But in 7-Eleven, you would expect people to come every day, multiple times. During the meals also, like lunch, breakfast, dinner. You expect people to come. So we will even open stores along with Sumit, to address the needs which he is not addressing. So that is how. So that is how we are different.
Apart from that, when we talk about challenge, challenge is like everybody talks about online, but we are not straight away going into online. So we will start with offline stores, make some setups like 50 odd stores, make a brand name, and get into online. Because if you get into online with just one store, or four couple of stores, 4-5 stores, it's a bad customer experience. Getting into offline, online are different, business altogether. It's not necessary that if you're offline, you have to be online.
No, absolutely.
You have to understand the expectations of a customer. What
exactly.
When he comes to online, how the customer experience has to change. When he is in the store, how the customer experience should work. So all those dynamics one has to keep in mind while defining the customer experience around the brand. That's one part. Then another part is like 7-Eleven, as like it's an international brand. So bringing that brand and aligning to the expectation of people around, that's another big challenge.
Absolutely.
And we are piggybanking on Reliance Retail. So we have backend support, backend platform of Reliance Retail. We are piggybacking on it. Online is not a big deal. We could go online any day. Like we have GeoMart. We can sit on GeoMart and we can.
Absolutely.
But it's an intentional decision. We will hold for it, and maybe we will start with very hyper local delivery models, just to understand how this this type of convenience retail works in India. It's a unique combination. It's a very unique combination. You have a small QSR, small retail also under same umbrella.
Yeah, understood. No, it's I think it's at a very opportune juncture that QSR and retail are now joining hands, and that's what 7-Eleven is bringing to the table. And I think you mentioned that we'll have to take those initial steps in terms of looking at where to have those stores, where do you really put the right inventory at the right time, learn from that experience, and then scale the business, I think, to larger number of locations, or even online with the backing from Reliance, right?
So
I think that's
just to extend, I think you need to understand in which demography you're opening the store. It could be in a area where people live, residential area. It could be in a office. It could be in college. So assortments in these areas would be different, because your customers would be different. You cannot have a right-hand screw rule, to address everywhere.
No, absolutely. One size does not fit all. And now, as I think from the last discussion also, consumer expectations have been so diverse and changing in the last at least 2 years. Amazon has spoiled everybody for choices. And in terms of, let's say even products with the likes of Blinkit and Swiggy, the moment the products are reaching within 10 minutes of duration to the consumer has the expectation that I need everything in 10 minutes and I need it delivered at my doorstep, right? So we might have to pivot our business models on those lines, but it's going to be interesting to see that, how the next maybe 3 to 5 years, how our businesses are going to adapt to these challenges. Absolutely echo that sentiment.
Last one piece about the
challenge.
Yes,
Arvind, absolutely.
As touched on, we are small stores. We are not big bazaar, so you don't have a space to keep everything. So how you utilize the space, we are planogram driven. So those are challenges, it's not a store where you can have everything. So all those are challenges to address.
Yes. No, I think that's also a fair point in terms of capacity and how do you plan for, those elements. I'll also want to now disturb Pankaj a little bit in terms of, banking on his experience on Godrej, because Godrej also has a similar format. Not the 7-Eleven, but the nature baskets of the world are are on the same lines, and how good or bad has it been, Pankaj, from your point of view?
Varun,
on
actually,
these
this
lines?
That way we are friends. That way we are
yeah.
friends.
But Nature Basket actually last since I think 2 years back we have sold out, so it is no more part of now
Okay.
Godrej, right?
Okay.
And I'll mainly talk about the consumer goods, right? Where actually I'm part of Godrej Consumer Goods, and I can relate with Basant and Harish what they have basically emphasized on the secondary sales, right? But in case of Godrej, actually the complexity goes little more in terms of multiple geographies, right? So because we are having, again, as Harish mentioned, like we are into multi-channels, general trade, modern trade, e-commerce and everything, right? And we are also existing in multiple geographies. So we have a general trade here in India as well as general trade in Indonesia as well, right? Where the secondary sales processes, what we are doing, right? I think the way they have explained, like the entire the beat route planning, right? The salesman should visit these many outlets in an optimistic way so that he can cover maximum number of outlets during the day, right? When he's visiting that entire beat optimization, that was actually a challenge for us initially because it was completely manual, planned by the marketing team, by the GTM team, right? So for that, actually, we have leveraged AI ML based models, and now basis the details of what should be the working hour, when he will start, when he will take the break, what will be the overall day's time, and when he is visiting the market area, when he is visiting the individual outlets, which route he is visiting on which particular day. We are able to optimize much of it, and basis that particular model predicts like what should be the beat for the next month for the salesman in this particular area, and that gives us good result in terms of covering maximum number of outlets during the day, right? Of course, the handled applications which they are using there, we have built a lot of like all the things where in terms of what sort of products. So we have categorized our products into 4 different types, which are our core products, which are our strategic products, which are the NPDs, and which are our last 6 month products which he has purchased, that outlet has purchased in the last 6 months, right? But he has not purchased in like say recently in these last 3 months, right? So anything purchased in last 6 months but not purchased recently, basically those sort of proposals we give in the handheld application itself, so that salesman can push those products when he's interacting with the outlet owner, right? So those informations, again, of course, the SOQs and everything, what is the minimum order quantity, like the focus outlets, like which are the outlets which are A-class outlets which you should visit. So during the beat planning itself, we plan it in such a way that maximum number of A-class outlets are covered during the day, then B-class outlets and the C-class outlets basis their sales velocity, right? So like that, those kind of inbuilt, you can say the predictions, we propose them in the beat plan as well as in the application. Of course, the performance during the day, anytime, whenever he visits the outlets, whether he is visiting the correct sequence, whether he is receiving the order at the outlet, or he's not visiting and receiving the order on the phone or something like that. For that, we have the geofencing and everything activated, right? So that we can capture that information. And we have the exceptions also throwing to the field sales leaders, like any salesman who belongs to that particular field sales leader and he has taken the order which is not within say 50-meter range or 100-meter range of that particular outlet based on the GPS coordinates. So we basically throw those kind of exception alerts to the field sales leader so that he can question the salesman whether he is really visited there or not in terms of their performance tracking, right? And also we give them the alerts and notifications in case if they have spent less than 10 minutes time at a retailer's place, right? So if as a salesman, if I'm visiting to you, I should spend enough time so that I can maximize, make that call as effective call, right? I should not simply go and visit and come out without taking any order. So those kind of like alerts and the predictions we have built in that application so that we can gain maximum out of it. And of course, in terms of our entire planning piece of it, like when we get these orders, demands and everything, the entire supply chain piece also, I'll touch a little bit upon that because that's an interesting project which we have done recently, where we do all our supply network planning, the node by node planning, which the demand comes to CFA, from CFA to our warehouses and then the manufacturing locations, right? The demand netting of basis and norms and everything that basically happens. And then basis that particular demand requirement at the manufacturing location, the line-wise production planning and scheduling basis the with minimum changeovers, to target highly penetrated SKUs and all those parameters and everything. We have built a model which basically is working out really well for us, where our planning team was facing a lot of problem, right, to do these manual things. And
Understood.
yeah,
Understood.
and from the logistics point of view, we have recently actually implemented a transport management system where we can track and trace our vehicles and everything, and we can optimize the vehicle loading. We can ensure the full truckload is there in terms of volumes and everything. So that part is also is working really well for us. So there are a lot of digitization initiatives which we have done in the area of our sales and planning things. And that is helping us a lot.
Perfect. No, I think fair experience and I think what we all take away, Pankaj, from those really insightful elements is that it's look at your sales first, try and understand those beats much
Exactly.
better, and the moment those beats on the GT side or even on sometimes on the MT side, if those appointments are something that you are able to crack the right orders and the right assortment, then trickle it back and throughout your value chain, make your planning more effective, make your transportation and logistics and execution more effective, and let the let the technology do the rest of the work, right? I think very well articulated, Pankaj. Perfect, and thanks for maybe giving us that perspective on how do you take care of the overall value chain. Yeah, please
one more thing I'll add here. So we were also facing a typical problem in case of our modern trade business. When the merchandisers used to visit the modern trade outlet, there are 3-4 KPIs which we track in terms of modern trade, right? What is my on-shelf availability? What is whether my promo pricing and everything, and what is my share of shelf, right? So when my Godrej #1 soap is there, along with Godrej #1, other products like say Lux and other soaps are also there. So what is my share of shelf? I have agreed with the modern trade, like minimum 30% of share should be Godrej share, right? Whether it is really there or not. When a merchandiser visits in the application, they used to record everything manually, right? And sometimes relying on that particular manual input used to be like not very much dependable for us, right? So that's where we have implemented an image recognition module, right? Where we can just, we have trained that particular tool with all the images of the product, competitor product, our product and everything. And the entire stock taking, the share of shelf calculation, everything happens based on the image, right? And that accuracy, actually initially we started with a lower accuracy, but now we have matured to reach around 85 to 90% of image accuracy. And on shelf availability, which we were anticipating that it was 96% earlier based on the manual data, we came to know it is less than 90%, and we should really push for it to improve it further, right? So
wow, excellent. No, I think it's fabulous. I only used to read this as a case study a couple of years back when CVS Pharmacy and the likes of Amazon wanted to do this in their store, which is a cashless store which Amazon had started in Seattle, right? Where it was all image recognition in terms of looking at the stock, and it was all image recognition when it comes to even making some of those payments and planning for assortment. But now it's a reality. I mean, coming to our market, when you say that, Pankaj, it really gives us a lot of confidence that these solutions are worth the investment, and you are reaping those efficiency gains when it comes to modern trade as a channel. Absolutely perfect. So I think Arvind, don't be surprised when the next time those merchandisers are clicking pictures within a 7-Eleven, and it's only to make their value chains more efficient. And I think that's something that
Lakme does that branding.
Okay.
Actually, a lot of modern trade outlets were restricting, but then we finally signed some document and NDAs with them, right? And we managed to convince them to allow us to take the photographs.
I think co-branding is something which we look for. Like Pepsi does co-branding, so those are opportunities for everyone.
Perfect. So I think, I mean, great. I can also see Yashasvi very diligently taking some notes, and he knows now how is he using the Freshdesk platform and targeting the CPG players better with the insights that you've shared. Yashasvi, maybe a little bit from your experience, in terms of how is Freshdesk sort of acquired clients on the CPG side, and what is the value proposition that you seem to be offering? Maybe a little bit on that, and then we take some guidance from your learnings.
Right. So, especially for us, during the last 1 to, especially the 2 years of times have been a lot of learning experience, because our customers came back to us, with a lot of questions. I mean, it is indeed a difficult time for them too. So, first of all, I would like to, really appreciate the leaders here who have made their organizations adapt to the change, in these times, right? I mean, it's not easy to thrive and be this resilient in these times. So I couldn't meet most of my customers in this time. So I would really like to appreciate all of the leaders that were here, all of us available here. So yeah, so to start with, some of the issues are basically to start, in terms of extending the functionality and connectivity to the point of need. I mean, at the point of need. So basically, it's from multi-channel to omni-channel. That is one for the customer experience. So this is in multiple directions. That's something that we have received. One is from multi-channel to omni-channel. That is for the customer experience. On the other side, we are also receiving. We were also receiving asks wherein, what if some of the customers, customer facing applications are really facing some kind of tough time, and how do we translate this back into our internal teams, which are now working from anywhere, right? I mean, so there was a surprise for us. So for us, we really had to work closely with customers, wherein we understood that most of their workforce is now working from home, and of course working from anywhere for that fact. And we have to also identify how do we first bucketize those non tech tickets, which probably the front end warriors, or probably the customer service teams can address. And we should also we were also working on how do we channelize those tech tickets which need to be routed to our internal teams, right? I mean, they might be on different platforms. The front end teams might be using our product, but they might be on a different platform. And that being there, we really had to work with multiple teams internally to build those channels that were how do I say it, those channels so quickly, and those channels that should be just plug and play enabled, because we couldn't afford to go back to customers and say, hey, give us some time, we'll build you an integration and all that. I mean, we didn't have that time, because all of us would have all of us, if we remember the pace at which the shift happened, right, from especially in the last 2 years. I mean, the transformation that we had to see, the pace at which we really had to change the way we work, we didn't have that advantage. So we worked on the plugins. That way we worked on plugins for multiple sources. One is basically bucketizing tickets and non-tech tech tickets to be routed to internal teams. Again, internally, we also do have another platform which takes care of service management for internal folks. So we built that plugin. We built other plugins for other applications, and those are comfortably routed first. So we took care of that first. And then, we also, as a product org, we reworked on how do we listen to the other components that are there in our customers infra space. So that way we were also working on work from home. So, but the kind of collaboration that we internally have with our platforms, we quickly took advantage of it. We reworked on the entire alert management as a framework. We tried plugging it into the products, and so the idea is any customer who is reaching out to us, shouldn't take much time just to understand the product, and they should be able to use it as comfortably as like a mobile app. I mean, because none of us could afford to do a second conversation as well. I mean, it was that kind of that were kind of packed for us. So that way it was really a wonderful learning experience for us. And I mean, for us, because we closely witnessed the resilience, the kind of shift that FMCG and retail organizations are doing, especially in these times. None of them could afford to have the multiple conversations on something. Whatever requirements we got, we tried to build that and get that.
Perfect,
so that way,
perfect. No, I think Yashasvi, fair point when you say that it's really a very impatient set of users for Freshdesk, when you say that it's essentially the the sales teams and the end users are slightly impatient, and you had to also be more and more resilient because of COVID, and you had to give those sort of functionalities, every sort of support that you could, and potentially I think that has been the biggest learning, right? Yeah, go
so
ahead.
especially I would say impatience came in because of this scenario that all of us were faced with. Otherwise, we had enough and more time to do things, but this was a different learning experience. So we had to look at each of the product from multiple channels. So how are we sourcing tickets? How are we regulating them? And probably if we have other internal platforms, other products that we have, so they are all well connected, and obviously giving the analytics back to our customers so that they can again reassess their decision making. Because earlier probably there was a change in there was a volatility in once in 2 years in customer behaviors of change. Now with this there was a volatility every lockdown, there was a change in the demand that way. So that was the kind of experience that we also had witnessed. It was a wonderful learning experience for us.
Perfect. So I think I know we are unfortunately constrained by time, but it has been extremely great to hear all of you. I'll just maybe take a quick pause, understand from Namrata and Priyanka, in case there are any questions around transformation for growth, specifically on the CPG side. Namrata, Priyanka, anything that you see on the chat coming in? Any questions?
Yes, Varun.
Okay. Just go ahead and maybe we can just hear it out and then try and see who's the best one equipped to address it.
Yeah, sure, Varun. So we have question. It's from Amar Baljit Singh. He is asking, how are the companies innovating the customer and employee experiences?
Okay, perfect. I think specifically on the employee experiences, I will want to maybe understand Harishji from you, or Pankaj maybe from you. I know Godrej, Britannia, both are pretty employee centric. I know all of them are, but then anyone who wants to take a shot at it.
It's basically on the employee side, it is more of digitization, enabling them on the ground. So when we are talking of tracking salesmen, for example, there's a large number that we are talking of when they start, when they leave, and what are the beats that they go in, and are they actually delivering or not. And if there is absenteeism there, and how do we cover that bucket for the day? So there are also call centers which pitch in and they do it. Apart from the core of the requirements of employee, where they actually need to submit their expense statements, getting these things, all those are automated because he uses the app, and therefore we are able to track where he has gone and what it is and all that.
Wow.
So at the end of it, he just needs to submit what he needs to submit, which has been a good experience for them. On the office side, it's not much of an improvement. It's more like, it's enabling them to ask routine tasks of their own requirements, like the leave or the salary details, etc. on mobile. But otherwise, I think in the field, it has made a big difference.
Just to add
Absolutely.
here, Varun. Actually, along with this, of course, the performance monitoring of the Salesforce team, that is one part which Harish has covered. From the employee point of view, there are a lot of things in the area of their day-to-day activities, what they perform in the system, right? So, like here, we had a theme called digitization and automation. As part of that, whatever are the manual repetitive work which a particular user is doing, or as a business user is doing, let's take an example of say accounts, like booking the vendor invoices in the system, right? It's a complete mundane job, right? Which is like a repetitive work where he's referring a hard copy, doing the data entry in system, matching it, and then posting it. Why can't a bot do that instead of a person doing it? Because it is a similar kind of repetitive work, right? And that is where we have started this journey, and we have started identifying all such areas and small pockets across all the functions, not only sales, be it sales, marketing, finance, manufacturing, sourcing, product procurement, everything. Right? Today, our category managers in sourcing, right? They go to a lot of websites to collect the commodity prices, LPG prices, crude oil prices, right? A lot of indexes, a lot of information they get from Reliance side and everything. Why can't a bot go and extract that data and put in a particular file which is readily available for the person, right? So as an IT, we have taken that initiative across all the function, and we had a target every year. Like every year, we are going to automate say 25,000 hours of the organization.
Oh wow!
Across all the function, and this in consecutive 2 years we have achieved 25,000, right? So this year we are targeting almost, we are going to bank almost 58,000 hours. And with this, actually, it's we are basically making the system error free, simpler. We are also improving on the turnaround times a lot, and also for the employees, those who are doing this continuous repetitive work, they can now focus on more productive work. They can be now there are a lot of things which there are a lot of hiring pipelines also which we have closed with this, right? That why to hire a new people for this job when the person is equipped to take up additional responsibility and something which is more productive for him as well as for the organization. So that as a theme also has helped a lot.
Absolutely. I think thumbs up, Pankaj, thumbs up on that. I think very, very important is what you mentioned, that, take a target, take, for example, if not 25,000 hours, but even if it's, let's say 5,000 hours that you would want to reduce, right? Take at least a number, work towards a goal, and that's potentially an inspiration and a takeaway that all of us can really, learn from and maybe adapt to in our organizations as well. Harishji, I think you also mentioned that a lot of automation around, specifically, let's say, some of the mundane activities, those becoming extremely simple for people. I think simplicity and automation, I think, are those, key things that we potentially could learn from and adapt in our ecosystems. I know Sumit and Yashasvi both come from new age organizations which are any which ways, maybe to some extent employee centric. Maybe my bias on that, but e-commerce organizations and the new age organizations are any which ways doing a lot in terms of going beyond for acquiring talent and retaining them. So I think no secrets there, but lovely to understand from your perspective. I think Harish and Pankaj on this, right? So I think I am getting a nudge, and not an AI-driven nudge, but actual nudge from Namrata and Priyanka that we are unfortunately over time. So I'll want to pause this lovely discussion here and thank Sumit,
Varun.
Yashasvi.
Actually, we
Yeah.
have one question is left. Actually, one last question.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
Please
it's
go ahead,
from
Priyanka.
question is from Rajeshwar Patil, who's asking what is the
Uh-huh.
next in the digital transformation of FMCG?
Oh, that can be a extremely broad, thing to address. But maybe on this a little bit from Sumit, you, and then maybe a little bit on this from Yashasvi. What is next when it comes to digital transformation on FMCG? Your thoughts on this, Sumit?
See, actually, as you said, right, it's a very broad topic. obviously what we are looking at, rather than, saying that, we are just going, iteratively, we want to improve on all the KPIs. But at a very fundamental level, in any kind of sales, what I would say is like, you need to satisfy most of the customers. Your assortment should be right, and your service should be, ever improving. Right. So that is at the center of it, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Anything on that, Yashasvi, from you, and potentially, I mean, those thoughts culminate
No, that's all.
into
That's
a
all.
larger message.
That's all.
I'll just quickly take Yashasvi's point of
I
view on
think
this, and we close.
yeah. So for me, I would like to just focus on the enablement of platforms for FMCG organizations, when it's especially for the digital workplace and workforce model and work hybrid workforce models. So I think the platforms that we want to work on are going to be much more right to fit, be it of any size. I would say, I wouldn't say scalable, but to the idea is to primarily trickles down from to bring in the governance into one single platform. So as I know, FMCG's organizations are huge and they have a lot of components for each of the functionality. So idea is to bring in one platform for governance and probably work towards reducing the uncertainty by bringing in right collaboration
Absolutely,
platforms and
absolutely,
tools.
absolutely. Perfect, perfect. So I think I'll quickly maybe take a stab at it, that the next in digital transformation for CPG is nothing but that consumer experience, right? How is that, segment of one, be it Pankaj, be it Yashasvi, be it Sumit, if we are end consumers, how are, organizations able to target that segment of one, keep that end consumer absolutely spoiled for choices, as be as savvy to service as much as possible. And obviously there will be, more and more tech and more platforms that will enable that. But at the center of that business, if you can prioritize customer centricity, I mean, that's going to be the, mool mantra for the decade to come. I think that's the message we want to leave everybody with. And I think I'll thank every panelist on this for their lovely thoughts, and we'll take a sign off. Back to you, Namrata and Priyanka, on this.
Yeah, everyone.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks,
Thank you,
Sumit.
everyone.
Thanks,
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Yashasvi.
you.
Thanks, Pankaj.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you, everyone.
Harishji. All right.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
I request everyone to please smile so that we can take a picture.
All right. Say
Thank
cheese.
you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Priyanka. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Now, the most awaited moment of the evening has come to an end. A precious moment to celebrate success and innovation. Inflection Awards are India's most prestigious awards in technology, supply chain, logistics, procurement, marketing, and organized by Alden Global Value Advisors. Today, 100 plus CXOs and attendees are watching this live on our website. Now, let's start the celebration with the first award for Manufacturing Visibility Project of the Year FMCG 2022 that goes to Prasad Utyawar from Parle Agro. Congratulations, Mr. Prasad. I request you to please come and receive your award. Also, Prasad, I request you please accept to become as a panelist. You're on mute, Prasad. Yeah.
Audible now?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, you are audible. Yes, you are audible.
Yes. Hello.
Yes, Prasad. You can speak. No. Prasad, you. Let's proceed to the next award. Next award for IT Professional of the Year FMCG 2022 that goes to Pankaj Kumar Singh from Godrej Consumer. Congratulations, Pankaj. Please come and receive your award.
Hi. Thank you everyone for recognizing the efforts. Actually, it has been great pleasure to be with the panel and share my views on this. Thank you very much.
Yeah, congratulations, Pankaj. Please smile so that we can take a screenshot. Congratulations, great show.
Thank you.
Next award for Best Corporate Website Award Metal and Mining 2022 that goes to Vedanta Limited. I request Sagar to please come and receive the award.
Thanks, Arlen Gopal. Specifically thanks to Priyanka, Prabjot, and Namrata, and the jury members to provide us this prestigious award. Thank you.
Congratulations. Please smile so that we can take a screenshot. Congratulations, Mr. Sagar.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next award for Best UI UX Agency of the Year ITNS MSME 2022 that goes to Nexus Technoware Solution Private Limited. I request Sagar to please come and receive the award.
Thank you, Arlen Gopal, for double award. And I think the first award we received for means our client Vedanta Aluminium Limited, but means Sonal Madam not available due to the meeting. And this award again goes to the best website design and development. And I think since the last 1 year we are providing in the COVID time we are working many projects means mainly metal and mining sector. So we have been utilized many latest pattern UI and UX designing. So thank you Alden Global to choose us for this award.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You can smile and so that we can take a screenshot. Congratulations. Thank you. Next award for AI Startup of the Year ITNS 2022 that goes to Yellow AI. I request Kruti to please come and receive the award. Congratulations, Kruti.
Hi, thank you so much, Priyanka. Thank you, Team Inflection, and the overall jury members for the mention. We at Yellow.ai have been enabling over 1,000 plus brands to improve their CX and EX. And as a company, we are super proud to receive this recognition mentioning our work. So thank you so much.
Congratulations, Kruti. Keep up the good work. Please smile so that we can take a screenshot. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next award for Digital Transformation of the Year ITNS MSME 2022 that goes to Impeger Technologies Private Limited. I request Mr. Gopinath to please come and receive an award. You're on mute, Gopi.
Yeah, thank you so much for recognizing our efforts, team, and I thank on behalf of Impaga team. We are definitely proud of receiving this award. Thank you so much.
Please smile so that we can take a screenshot. Thank you. Next award for Best Employee Portal of the Year, Industry Machinery 2022, that goes to Runaya Private Limited.
Thank you,
I
Alden
request
Global.
again, sir. Yeah.
Thank you, Alden Global. Thank you, Priyanka. Thank you, Namrata. Again, means this is being a good hour for us. We have introduced best in class, content management solution for the Runaya. And we have introduced many new technology like complete document management system with AI driven, means like complete like workflow management system, and like social media integration. So a lot of things actually we have integrated for the Runaya for the best internet portal. Thank you for, means choose for this award. Thank you.
Congratulations, great show. Thank you. Last award for Tech Solution Company of the Year, CPG 2022, that goes to Field Assist. Congratulations, Mr. Param. Please come and receive your award.
Thank you, Ellen. Thank you, jury. It's a pleasure and honor to have this award on behalf of our teammates, and also thanks for the trust of thousands of stakeholders in FMCG industry to choose Field Assist as their growth partner. So thank you once again.
Congratulations, Param. Please smile so that we can take your happy picture. Thank you. Thank you, top leaders and delegates, for sharing your contribution and making this rich discussion. Hope you all will be able to carry the thoughts of the day with a robust roadmap and strategies. See, thank you all. Have a great evening.